Okay. Hello. Hello, people. Hello. Hold up. What you doing, YouTube? Stand by. My computer's frozen. All right, we lost it. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to a Friday show with a what seems to be still pretty laggy camera. Still trying to figured out what the issue is with my camera and the feed going through to this computer. Seems to be a little bit sloppy and choppy and slow. I'll have to figure out why that's happening. Welcome in. Good to see you. We got a day ahead of us. We're gonna do some Star Citizen Live looking, but I've also got over here, right here, you can kind of see it off the side. Ugh. This big old package came from Monstertech, and it has been a package that was it couldn't come to Turkey for reasons, and so they sent it here. And after we do our Star Citizen Live looking through and exploring, we're gonna go and actually open that up and do whatever we might do with it together. What's going on with my screen here? Where is my graphics card just decided to stop working today? There it is. There we go. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the choppy camera. I really don't. Quite annoying. It's not my cord. I wonder if it's my motherboard. Could be my motherboard. It's a pretty old motherboard on the streaming PC, so maybe it's just not receiving very well through that port. Either way, I guess you'll just kind of have to deal with glitchy Mr. Tomato for a little while. How y'all doing? You having a good day? Looks like chat popped off. You guys had a good time with the with the music today, Twitch, huh? Sorry you missed it, AAK. Vassin. Cypherly Ken, good to see you. Spore, welcome in. Zero, Rhino, Valis, Ethnification, Juke. How you doing? You know who I miss seeing in chat? I miss seeing Signusian in chat. The dude was my go-to for the Senbei crackers. Felt like there's a tradition, you know, here on the stream, and I miss that tradition. But maybe somebody else in chat will pick up some Senbei and we can enjoy that together. Brofist, how you doing? Sketo, good to see you. Musonic Dude. What timing? Just got back from the shop on a day off and see someone you had to visit from Monstertech. Yes, Monstertech sent a box. We're gonna Monstertech it open and see what's inside. Good morning, Rhino. Sig's getting settled in a new job. Do they not allow you to eat Senbei at that new job? Because if not, that's despicable, if you ask me. Folks, today we're going to check out some Star Citizen Live. I honestly didn't realize it was going to be on here. I was going to do the monthly report up until about 5 minutes ago. And then I got tagged by Valis. And I was like, hey, there's Star Citizen Live. I should probably cover that because that's new news. And who doesn't know the new news? So the description for this says, we're back with another Q&A session answering your questions about the content show during the Dress to Kill presentation. To be quite honest, this was a good one for them to start with. Blasphemous, thank you for the raid, dude. Welcome in, buddy. Blasphemous, a pretty long time Star Citizen streamer, folks, if you don't know who they are. I'd check him out. He's streaming the goods, doing the space stuff, giving the giveaways, shipping the ships, all that jazz. Yeah, this is a good one to start with because I think of all of the panels that we saw at CitizenCon, this one leaves the most sort of questions in my mind about what the status of this stuff is and sort of where they want to go with it. In fact, let me start this little introduction thing. So the Dress to Kill panel went over some stuff that's pretty important, but it's stuff that was gone over in 2019. And so I thought it was a little bit light considering maybe more of what I would have expected them to talk about, given the vast amount of time that has occurred between those 2 points, but also because they've been working on armor, specialized armor for a while, and I thought they would show that during CitizenCon rather than just like showing us slides. So I'm glad they're doing a Q&A here on it to hopefully dive deeper into some of the stuff they talked about, because I think of all of the panels that we saw at CitizenCon, that one was not as fulfilling, I think, as the others. Gotta run and get your son from school. Hope you have a great stream. Well, thank you for dropping the folks with us. Welcome in, everybody, if you just got here. You should be shortly starting to be inundated with fun knowledge and great talks and good opinions and hottest of takes. Hopefully this is a good show. Do you got news for me regarding those specialist armors? We'll see what happens. I wonder if they're going to be in 4.0 or something. Don't spoil it. All right, you guys ready to jump in on this and see what they have to say? Again, after we're done with this, we'll be opening up whatever this mystery package is from Monstertech. Can't imagine what Monstertech might send that's that big. Maybe a couple of mounts. I don't know. We'll get to that though. Let's see what they have to say about characters in Star Citizen Live. Oh, let me switch over to my other. I'm gonna get ahead of this problem. And we're just going to go straight from this account because that treats us better.
We get no, I said once we get started. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special pre-taped edition of Star Citizen Live. I have attempted this intro several times, and none of them were good because we've been off the air for about 2 weeks, once. Nope, we're going to leave it in. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. And
oh, yeah, Mrs. Tomato actually got her new Nerf gun. It's like a freaking unicorn or something. Unfortunately, you might not see it today because she's a little bit preoccupied, but I'm sure somebody's going to ask me to get shot, so we'll see.
Star Citizen Live before. It's the show that's normally live, but because of some scheduling issues, we're pre-recording this on Thursday, the day before. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. Joining us on the show this week are esteemed members of our gameplay teams assigned to FPS, combat and armors, and character-based gameplay, and AI and creatures and stuff like this. We're doing a follow-up to our Dress to Kill presentation at CitizenCon. So this is a big characters and creatures presentation. That's it for the intro. I did it in one take. Ooh. That was the only take I attempted to do. Let's get to meeting our esteemed developers here. Joining me immediately to my right, a man who probably needs...
He did it in one take, but he shaved, so it doesn't count.
No introduction, but we're going to do it anyway. Zach, tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Hello,
Zach Glint Guy Priest, from what I've heard.
Zach, I do FPS, I do AI, I do weapons, anything that the character moves around and does, I'm usually involved with.
Don't sell yourself short. You also add...
Oh my God, are you the hygiene guy? Are you going to have who we're going to have to go after when we hear about hygiene? How dare you?
Sniper scopes.
Yeah, but I'm trying to move past being the glint guy and trying to be
the glint guy. He did it. He said the G word.
Cool worm guy now. I get harassed less on Twitter that way.
Is there a cool worm guy? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but
yo, the first gun that Mrs. Tomato got, we had to take back because it was too powerful. Like, they don't around here in America with their Nerf guns, okay? And in Turkey, it was like, oh yeah, just buy a gun from the store, whatever. Here in America, she got like one of the smaller ones, and if she shot me, I would have had a freaking aneurysm or something. I know that's not what causes aneurysms. Go with it. Still, it was an intense piece of work. So we got something a little smaller and cuter. It is a unicorn.
Okay.
All right. Directly to your right, Nick, tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Hello, my name's Nick. I'm a systems designer 3. I'm very similar to Zach. We kind of work hand in hand on FPS. So we're focused on a lot of weapons, and also now I'm focusing on armor with Luke as well. So.
Yeah. And Luke, no stranger to SCL. You've been doing this for years and years and years now. Yeah. Tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Mr. Luke Presley.
I own law, security, reputation. Now I own cargo.
Luke, it's you? You own security and reputation? Oh my God, I have so many things to ask this man. I didn't know Luke Presley was the one in charge of all that stuff. Ah, gosh, they need to... I'm glad this guy's on SCL, but he's not on here for the reasons that I want to know about, which is like reputation when? Law and security, what happens?
And also armor.
I own the law, he says.
I am the law.
It's like Judge Dredd. I am the law. That was the older Judge Dredd. I know there's a newer Judge Dredd that was very popular and should have gotten a sequel.
Yeah, Carl.
It never did. All right, so as we are
Oi, I'm
wont
Judge
to do,
Dredd.
we have put a thread up in
Be
Spectrum, which
more
is
like
our
him.
bespoke communication platform available on robertspaceindustrials.com.
I'm a
We let
cheeky
folks
Judge
submit
Dredd,
their
ain't I?
questions and vote up the ones they wanted to see answer the most. Earlier this week, we let Nick, Zach, and Luke dig through your questions and find the questions that they had the most information about, because remember, not everything is currently in active development, so things that are...
What don't we know about all that, though? To be quite honest, I would love to ask him, how is security going to work in cities? Are people going to be able to open carry their guns in cities, or are they going to remain armistice zones? I don't think we've gotten a clear answer on that in a long time. And while that's the expectation, you could say that's the expectation just as much as is expected that we'll move boxes from ships to freight elevators, in that saying probably vast majority of the Star Citizen community doesn't know that, and we'll have words about that when it finally does happen. So being able to talk about it here, I think, is best bet. But that's a big one. I think really just general questions about where reputation is going at the moment right now, since we got reputation hostility in the system in 323, but haven't heard about how it's going to be applied to factions as of right now. Missions team picked up reputation, I think, about 1.5 years ago, after it was left dormant for over a year, but we haven't really seen it move since then. So really, I'm kind of just looking for an update on reputation, how that's working. Will the police response time be 10 plus minutes? Imagine you're in the city itself and the police take 10 minutes to get there. Like, sorry, we were flying around in the canyons, you know. Had to get back into the city to help you.
Farther off will be more nebulous and stuff, because we reserve the right to have a better idea. You know, you say something today and it's not going to happen for years and years and years, you write yourself into a corner. So all the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is the imminent work, the stuff that we're heading into in 2025 and stuff like this. So Nick, we're going to start with you.
Sure.
Start with here. At CitizenCon, you represented the next evolution of the armor archetypes system that you and Luke have worked on, stuff like this. This question simply says, we saw a lot of combat suits there, but how are engineering, mining, and industrial suits also coming along?
Solid question.
So yeah, that's correct. We did see a lot of combat stuff. I think we were very excited to show a lot of the new armor sets that we're making, and it was just by chance that they were combat focused. But any eagle-eyed spotters would have seen in one of the slides, we actually had the concept or the prototype of our mining suit. So the mining suit is going to have its own dedicated mining visor, where you'll be able to scan.
I need to go back and check that, because I don't actually know if I saw that or not. I will say this. It's a bummer that they all happened to be combat suits, because everything in Star Citizen happens to be so combat so often. Oh, man. Where can we... Let's see.
And match. Star Wars is...
Shoot. I don't know where I would end up accidentally coming across a mining suit.
We are... How bigger is Gem?
Huh. Looks like this must be it. Okay, so this looks very Grey Cat in nature. Didn't have to wait long. Yeah. So there's this. But here's the thing. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of this show. If we go to Armor to the Core or something. I don't remember. Armor archetypes. It had nothing to do with core.
Over time,
Like, we could go back to this, and it's kind of
for a heavy...
like the same kind of presentation, you know? Like, we looked at our concepts for our future of FPS armor and kind of how they would work and how there would be different breakups and how they would protect us. And it's like, I mean, we were at this 5 years ago. It would have been nice, I think, to see
Thank you very much.
a little bit further past what we got this time. AAK, thank you for the sub, dude. Appreciate you. Yeah, I definitely expected more from the panel. And I hope that during this, we get some solid answers that help to flesh out what they already showed us.
find more detailed information about minables that are around you, much further distance. And obviously it offers great environmental protection. So obviously we want players to be going down in caves and obviously with different temperature resistance and obviously for storage as well. So those minables, whether they be large or small, we want the player to be able to think if they're dedicated in mining that they can head towards that. And we've got the salvage suit as well, like just reminded me of that. Like we obviously, the beauty of this as well is we are going into some of our armor sets that are more legacy as well. So it's not just new armor sets. So
that's good to hear.
We've got the current Grin armor, which I actually think has got a really cool feature. So it will be kind of streamlined more with the backpack. It's have its own dedicated backpack, which will stream from the tool through the arm into the backpack.
Oh, wow. Yo, that's an older... I don't even know if we can pull up let's see if we can do one of these random jump in and find things. I would say that's like a... I would go with, let's see, when did Salvage come into the game? At the end of 2022, right? So this would be probably like a July 2022 kind of thing. They used to talk about production of a salvage backpack that would link directly up to the tool. Not here. Unless... Nope. Yeah, that's going to be a hard find. Like, I doubt I'm just going to come across that. But they used to talk about this a while ago, and it would basically be like you have this specialized backpack that allows you to... Oh, here it is. A salvage-themed backpack. So that's all we get here. Maybe in the next month, though, they go into a little more detail. The idea would be that you would attach it to the tool you're using, mining or salvage or whatever, and instead of only having the storage of like whatever you can pick up off the ground or only being able to open or you know, grab anything that is right in front of you, you would have a backpack that's entirely dedicated to that, and it automatically sucks up all the stuff and puts it inside. Here they talk about it again. A salvage themed backpack is currently being worked on by Tech Art. So this is April 2022 that they were working on for this. And I really wish I could find, there was another segment where they specifically mentioned that it was like a backpack that was connected to your tool. But I do believe that's what he's talking about here. And it's kind of crazy to go back and see this stuff talked about so freaking long beforehand, and then it kind of gets dropped off for whatever reason, and then it comes back out of nowhere like this. We also here in the monthly reports from earlier this year are seeing the talk about these armors. So in July, the character art team began working on utility armor. Who doesn't like a little utility? They also progressed with the specialist armors, supporting requests for the character customizer. So the specialist and utility armors we haven't even seen. They didn't even show them to us at CitizenCon. So this is kind of like that whole, y'all were clearly sitting on things to make them more hype so you could show them at CitizenCon, but then you didn't show them at CitizenCon. So what's the game plan here? Is this it? You're legitimately just telling us stuff that's coming probably first half of next year, but not showing it. Like, showing us this kind of stuff would have given people a better idea of what's going on in the immediate future of Star Citizen, because a lot of this felt very far down the line. It would have helped to carry the idea that this isn't all just concept art or something that's coming again far down the line. And then 8, it would have just been a show, like a more physicalized show of the direction they're going on. I wonder what their game plan is with this and why they're working on this without really showing it. If it's just something that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't be actually showing the physical progress on this. But yeah, they can do a lot with this. The main benefit of doing specialized armors and customization and stuff is that you don't need character skills to be able to unlock. You could just make more and more equipment that's harder to get, that's funner to loot, that's more difficult to craft, and build gameplay around those difficulties. Luna Maria, thank you for the super chat. Your 2 favorite SC YouTubers, always good to see you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Good to see you in the chat as well. You have in high anxiety as reality sets in approaching the 18th, but you are well. Good to hear. Glad you're doing well. hope the anxiety can stay low and calm. Meditation and happiness at what's coming. Congratulations to you. Wishing you the best. Did we open the Monstertech yet? Not yet. No. It's right here. Sitting right on camera, off camera right here. Assume bounty hunters will get tracking info, cargo jockeys will get info on cargo manifests, yeah, or like weight and stuff like that. I think it would be very cool if you put on a cargo focused helmet, if it gave you a reading whenever you looked at your cargo bay or did whatever you were doing in setting boxes around the cargo of a ship, it would show you how that mass will affect the ship itself. Because that's going to be a thing at some point if it's not already right now. And I imagine it's hard to understand that. But the amount of stuff that they can do in customizing this armor is going to be so cool.
Once you're salvaging, you won't have to worry about changing the vials and whatnot. It'll go streamlined straight into your backpack. So if that is something you're dedicated in, then that has that opportunity as well.
So the mining suit, because we almost had a miner in our demo. The armor wasn't quite ready. There's a visor specific
like a child?
for the miner suit that'll help you better identify materials and stuff like this. For the salvage suit, is there something similar for the visor? Are we working on a specific salvage visor?
Yeah, so that's still kind of in concept phase for that. I know the mineable one's a bit more obvious, but we'd like, obviously, to provide the players with enough detail as they need. So if that is a profession that they're particularly interested in, then when they do scan and ping out towards objects that they can interact with, then they will get more detail about potentially what material is and how much the health of the component, of the chip component, sorry. So
Yeah, most players who don't have that visor will be relying on the screen on their weapon, you know, to understand what they're salvaging, whereas they may, you know, the visors may get extra information either side.
Yeah. Like I said, the different materials, maybe even certain areas yield more. Identifying the area, in case you're in a hurry, in case you're like trying to salvage in an active war zone. It's like, right, I'm just going after the really good stuff.
Tell us about that though. See, that's super interesting mining information. Is like, will you get a better output of minerals from a different place? And can you determine that using these helmets, or are we always just going to be sticking some heat into a couple asteroids and pop whenever it gets too hot? Hi. Oh, PK, you wanted me to be shot? Awesome, dude. Thank you. Appreciate you. You're awesome. You're great. Frisch, thanks for the sub, man. What up, Toes Gang? Yeah, there's a beautiful unicorn.
It says blaster corn.
Holy crap.
Murder corn.
I think I just hallucinated the eye closing. That creeped me out for a second.
What did you eat?
Just for 1 second. Is that how you have to load it every time? Oh, hey, don't point it at the face. Jesus. Just so rude with the guns. Just shoot. Don't.
Is it really weak?
No.
But look.
The wings move.
Yeah.
How cute.
How angry she is. She's a meanie.
All right. Thank you, PK. We appreciate that.
Does it
The
hurt
end
us?
of the Drake
No.
ship. Shout out to Drake. I was just hanging around with John Crew earlier, so I'm back on Drake. I love Drake. I really do. Nick, are the extra pouches from 2953 still a thing?
they are still a thing. It's definitely in the plans. It's just not actively being worked on currently.
Solid.
It's something
Another
that
solid
we're
question.
definitely, still planning for.
That is for anybody who does not know what they're talking about. I'll pull it up real quick. We looked at that during our overview of this panel, or some other panel, or something at some point, someday during.
This is about.
This is the wrong one. During CitizenCon, when we were reviewing something, I don't remember what brought it up, but we were looking at the modular bags that they introduced at CitizenCon last year.
Or other
Nope.
context.
Nope. Which one is it? Isn't it Living on the Edge? Character advancement. This system. Pretty cool system. Great idea for bags. Yeah, the pouches. Everybody looking at the screen like, dude, our inventory system already sucks. Now you're just going to give us multiple bags to try and figure out. Yeah, and it's shelved. So, something can just get shown at CitizenCon and then it completely shelved. And I think when they show something like this, they spent, what, a minute on it? A minute and a half, and then never talked about it anywhere after that. It's pretty safe to understand that things are not happening immediately if they do that. And so we'll have to start looking at the different things they're talking about, especially at CitizenCon, and make some calls about that kind of stuff in the same way.
They are still a thing. It's definitely in the plans. It's just not actively being worked on currently, but it's something that we're definitely still planning for.
Zach,
Yes.
we saw the return of the Valacar.
Yes,
At this year's CitizenCon. We've got a lot of questions about the Valacar. Here's the first one that the comment that I saw almost immediately,
Yeah.
like as the show was starting or whatever, is, what? Wouldn't we just drop an A2 on this thing? Wouldn't we just Moab the heck out of this
It eats A2s.
Yes.
MFer?
So of course that would be,
I mean, you'll
that
have
would
your
make
own
the
people
most
on the
sense. They'll
ground.
Kill it, but there's two things with that. The
I'm
Moab
guessing that's the whole reason that they have people having to stay on the ground, is so you can't just drop bombs.
is going to be expensive to craft, right? Like that is that's an endeavor essentially. And the second thing is that if you do any like large, big scale AoE attacks, you will destroy the harvestables. They'll just be gone. So any like large explosions, like we talked about in Idris Railgun, right? Like that is a lot of damage as well, and you'll just basically completely remove the harvestables. That, or we're going to say, well, the quality is absolutely.
He said
gone as well.
Endeavor.
So
Endeavor
people
2025
are like, there's
confirmed.
this cheese strategy. It's like, I've already thought of that. So we've got you there already.
And before we started, I was trying to pitch Zach on this idea of just Godzillaing kaijuing the thing, and making it feed on explosive radiation and get more angry and stuff. And
I think the idea of a radiation-based sandworm is very cool, though. So hopefully we can visit that someday.
all right.
Space Marine, thanks for the sub,
Will
dude.
the Valacar be a
Appreciate
world
you.
boss type of encounter, meaning it roams and you find and search for it, or will it be a mobiGlas mission?
So Rich is very keen on it not being a mobiGlas mission. He understands, the
Thank
almost
you, Rich.
pompousness that you need with something that is of this scale and this
Appreciate
cool.
you.
And we do have a specific plan already. We know what we're going to do. It's nothing like we've seen in Star Citizen before, and it's very cool. And I've seen the brief. I know what it is, and it's incredibly cool. But no details because we want to make it an event.
Okay. And some of the things we tried to make it as evident as possible in our demonstration, but some people, you don't always get it. The having to taunt it out, using a ground vehicle,
Yeah.
and doing donuts and stuff. Obviously, we're not going to go into the details just yet, but that's representative of the kind of thing. Like, it's not just about going and finding it; it's about coaxing it out.
Coaxing
it out.
And there is something you'll have to do with the big event.
Gotta
that
tickle
you
its
coax it to
toes.
a certain location. So that's already thought of. So it's not just oh, there it is, get the vehicle, go out. It's a very cool multi-stage process. It's when you get your guild together, your org together, and you're able to just get the boys together too. Let's go kill the sandworm. It's really cool.
Watch him have like the whole thing just like in Dune, where you have to put this thing in the sand and wait. That'd be so funny. Just like, yeah, the super custom process, very, very unique. And then you're just doing the same thing from that. But interestingly, like, obviously Dune predates Star Citizen, but a lot of people thought that this was happening because of the Dune movies, the new ones, but they originally brought this out before the first Dune movie came out. It was like 2016. The first new Dune movie was like 2018, 2019. So I think this was more a callback to the older Dune movies and stuff than the new stuff. Still love what Dennis is doing with that though. It's good stuff. Looks
Can
good.
you kite the sandworm?
Can you cut this out? Well, I don't want to give a really nerdy gameplay answer, but it does move underground, so possibly.
I just remember in the early WoW days before we launched WoW and everything, trying desperately to coax the world bosses into the Agrimar and Stormwind and stuff.
I'm terrified because of how systemic our game is. What happens if you take this near someone's bases and things like that? And that's the fun and beauty of. Yeah, I mean, there are Copians spawning near where NPCs are and things like that, and you can get to a place where NPCs are and they're having a fight with Copians because our game is just so systemic.
Will it destroy buildings?
That's not something we plan. We're not like, let's put these near here. It's just how our game works.
Called emergent gameplay, my friend.
Yeah.
Emergent
Remember what happened when I
gameplay.
used game design terms?
Who had that on their bingo card?
So people didn't understand what I meant, so.
I'm not sure you understand what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not actually employed here. I just make the glint.
Zach showed up one day to the company barbecue, and we just kept him around.
Glint priest.
Maybe this next question's for Luke. I mean, anybody can answer it, but with the need for multiple specialized armors, will we see suit lockers enabled and more options for armor storage, like storing in the ship inventory come out?
This is what everybody was hoping this panel would be about. Freaking suit
Star
lockers.
Wars, further developed.
Well, those are on very different teams, like the Starware and the lockers. So those guys have very different priorities as well. I can't guarantee they'll come out at the same time. All ships that should have inventory, though, do currently. And for 4.0, a lot more of those will have like physicalized panels and things that you interact with.
That's good.
To find those.
I hope 4.0 acts as an update moment for a lot of the ships, because the non-physicalized components, the non-physicalized storage access in a lot of the older ships really kills the joy of salvaging, especially when you want to just pull components out because they make more money. And you can't because they're not physicalized yet. That and storage would be great. Suit lockers, though, would have been a nice touch. Like, they straight up put that in the base building video they used to tease CitizenCon in August, so I would have sworn that maybe suit lockers were going to show up at CitizenCon, but they didn't say anything about them.
And like the lockers themselves, those are really cool. Like they allow you to kind of pre-customize, your loadout.
Whole loadout, yeah.
Yeah, and then swap into it very quickly. Like, and your clothes would go into like the mannequin on the inside as well, so you can quickly swap back and forth.
That is nice, because that, I believe, is the first on-camera confirmation of the actual functionality of suit lockers. They've had plenty of times where they've talked about, yeah, we want to do this, yeah, we want to do that, this is how it's going to be, that. Actually confirming to us that this is going to be he said very quick, he didn't say one click, but this sounds like 1 or 2 clicks to get all of the things that you want on your body right there and then. And this is one of the biggest, most important changes. This is a sleeper for sure. This is going to go mostly missed because it's in Star Citizen Live Bike like this. But when they start talking about this inside Star Citizen, when they start introducing the rest of the community to this, people are going to be so freaking happy to hear about this, because this is, it's loadouts. It's physicalized loadouts. And this wipes out one of the biggest perceived time sinks in Star Citizen for a lot of people. And it's the idea that every time you die or every time you want to do anything, you have to spend so much time equipping and gathering your stuff. All they have to do to get past that is say, you just get your clothes, you get your loadout from your ship locker or your hap locker or whatever. It's a 1 click and you're good to go. That wipes out a couple minutes there. And then get the persistence with the ship health to work better. And then suddenly your ship's not dying all the time. If you can just log on and off on your ship and have all your stuff right there in your suit locker on your ship when you're ready to go, this game could easily turn into 2 to 5 minutes from login to get to your gameplay that you want, as opposed to what a lot of people perceive right now, which is like 15 to 45 minutes. And this is a super, super important thing for them to get to, and I'm glad they're talking about it now. I think it would have been good at CitizenCon, but I hope this is like a sooner rather than later kind of thing, especially since he's really confirming how they're going to work here. Either way, good stuff. Suit lockers, oh man, that's going to help the work, the game flow, I guess the game flow of Star Citizen a ton going forward.
They also have like, you know, small inventory space, so you can put your spares, like your glasses and your grenades and whatever in there. Yeah, so like there will always be somewhere to store these things when you have to take them off or swap. But yeah.
And that still doesn't get past the fact that you have to carry spares with you and carry things with you, but that's also part of the game. Like, this is a way where they can encourage people to take advantage of and pay attention to the ships they have, the storage space they have, the chance to prepare for whatever it is they're doing. And it also allows you to have easy ways to get to that gameplay. And I think this is that line that they really need to be careful with, and they have been treading over the last couple of years. Really, it's like you want these sort of in-depth, time-sensitive decisions people have to make that can rot some pretty intense consequences, giving people more of that kind of sim vibe. But you also want the ability to simplify gameplay or simplify small parts so that they can actually get to that stuff that's fun. And I think this conversation comes up a lot when we start talking about moving cargo around. Some people would say, yes, it makes sense if the cargo is physicalized and I have to move it a bunch. Other people would say, well, this is just slowing things down just to slow it down. Maybe there are other ways that you could complicate the game. Or, you know, complexity is not the same as tedium, and tedium is not the same as good gameplay. And that definition changes for a lot of people. So at the end of the day, it's up to CIG. But I do think that this whole balance of in-depth game mechanics as well as time-saving options intermix and intertwined, we're going to see it a lot when it comes to things like what he's talking about here, inventory management, or with cargo physicalization, or with Death of a Spaceman stuff and mechanics, with shipping things around the star systems, with moving spaceships around. Like, how's it going to work when you want to log in a different location when you've been offline for all this time? Are they going to allow people to move their characters around while they're offline? Are they going to allow you to order your ship be transported somewhere else while you're offline so that by the time you log on, you can just use it? Because that, again, is like rewarding planning ahead, rewarding thinking about that before you get into the game. But it's also then making things more simple than they maybe seemed to be to people before, when they'd be like, oh yeah, you gotta trek across the whole game to get where you need to go. It's a little Oregon Trail across the Stanton system. There's a lot to consider here, but I'm really glad that they're talking about suit lockers in this way. And I'm excited to see after 4.0 how they start doing more and more of this with a lot of these things in the game that are kind of perceived as time sinks. You love moving cargo around like you would in real life? A lot of people love it. Yeah. Be careful, though, if you say you love it. The one time you complain about it, people will be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I thought you loved that. You're like, well, I mean, sometimes. You've been replaying Death Stranding, so Oregon Trail across the Santa system is obscenely appealing to you. Weren't they working on a new version of Oregon Trail? Oregon Trail seems like it would be an incredibly good RPG these days, just because of how in-depth you could go with survival mechanics in gaming now. The biggest time sink for your group is everyone getting geared up. Yeah, I think this could be a huge update for people in that regard. One person's time sink is another person's chill out gameplay. For sure, and I think that's a big part of a game like this, is making sure that not every part of gameplay requires every player to take part. So if you like cargo stuff, you can do that, and you never have to take on the combat part of that job. If you enjoy mining, but you don't like hauling the mining stuff around, then you could do the mining and hire somebody else to do the hauling. Like that whole idea, I think, allows them to make more in-depth gameplay mechanics without forcing everybody to do them, so you could just do kind of what you want. But that's a tough job. It's, again, another hard balance to hit. If they do space stations with all those modules, then you believe the Endeavor would be possible. Endeavor's basically a space station, right? Knight Rider deleted your comment on CitizenCon Goodie Pack. Apparently they didn't appreciate your suggestion by Business Ventures with Bad Dragon for that Sandworm plushie. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Sandworm plushie would be fun though. Maybe a sandworm body pillow. Ooh, a sandworm sleeping bag. You used to play Arcade and it's 90% bad, but it had a really wonderful system where you could drive trade goods across the map in a little tractor. You miss it a lot. You mean like that new, what's it called? The new vehicle from Argo, was it? That carries the stuff? Little truck you could drive around? That's why you got the Expanse, let you refine and transport for you. Yeah. Some corners you can cut, others you can't. Yeah, too many quarters cut makes a hexagon, and we don't like those. You're a perfectionist with OCD and a busy body, so your org can depend on you to always be happy spending all the time loading and unloading cargo. It's a valuable desire to have. Every org's going to need their, for lack of a better term, box monkeys. CSV, that's right. That's the one. All right, back to the smart guy telling us stuff we actually want to know about.
You know, they may not come online at the same time.
A couple weeks ago, might be a couple months ago now because time is illusion. I've been sucked into CitizenCon for so long. We released a preview on social media about the upcoming base building and the suit lockers and these gorgeous lockers.
We talked about
where
that.
You can just display your full loadout and stuff like this in your home.
Their volume's too low? Man, I hate that. I gotta like boost it through the browser. 200%. Because it's as loud as it can get on my end. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they are fully boosted. Just strange.
And whatnot. And it occurs to me that, with cargo grids and having these things that you might be able to, ships have their own suit lockers, but you might be able to, kit your ships out with even more lockers and stuff like that, and carry them around and basically really do the doomsday prepper kind of thing. Like, I've got my Zeus, I've got my a C2, and in the back I've just got the Batman armory for every occasion. No matter what comes up, I can run to the back, and there's my mining outfit, and there's my salvage outfit, and stuff like this. And that's a really exciting moment for me, because it's not like, obviously the inventory screen is cool. You go through and you drag and drop and whatever. But this idea that you just said,
it's almost like your models in the background there.
Yeah.
Like if you want to show off your favorite armors, there they are behind the shiny glass.
And then to immediately just go right to it and be like, equip, I want that.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's going to unlock a lot of cool gameplay.
Yeah, that's something that Rich is really passionate about as well, because
I just said, like I said, that this is going to be a sleeper of an edition, but I'm just remembering people lose their minds over stuff like this. All you have to do is go back to the Squadron 42 gameplay. When he puts this on, people literally cheer. Now this isn't even the live one, so we can't hear all the nerd gasps and screams. Nerd gasps and screams. How do we find that live? Listen to this. People love this stuff, man. People are just happy for this. That and the screen tearing. Like, it's such a big deal. And this was, some people were cheering because it looked cool. Some people were cheering because, like, nice design, whatever. A lot of those people, I bet, were cheering because just the idea of using suit lockers is like, oh, yeah, yes! All right, anyways.
Yeah, we have so many different types, and these like specializations, they kind of enhance the other styles of gameplay. So if you're in a dropship, for example, you don't want to be dropping into a hot war zone and then you're like, oh, okay, 1 minute, let me drag this and let me drag that. You want to be like, no, I want my combat. Yeah, I want to go straight to it. I want to get out there. I want to fight. So they kind of, all these little things that we're doing kind of start to complement one another, and it starts to feel more cohesive and what we intend.
Yeah, when your ship's being attacked, you know what I mean, the lights are going off, you're really worried. You're not like, oh, hang on, let me open a menu. It's like people are coming. Yeah, you want the Doom shotgun gif, right? Like these guys are coming, well, boosh, and then it's gonna be cool.
You picked a perennial favorite here. This question is simply parachutes.
Oh God.
So, do you want to take this one?
Freaking parachutes. Parachutes are like night vision in the amount of times they get brought up to all the different teams in this game. Say it like I always do. Jump jets. I think parachutes would be a strange choice when... Like, it doesn't make sense to have parachutes in a scenario in which you could be in different types of gravity or air resistance or no gravity or air resistance. Like, I feel like maybe being able to use our EVA thrusters a little more freely or liberally would make more sense.
I did ask JJ about
Yeah. So, yes, but maybe not exactly like parachutes. Something more in line with Star Citizen. So something in the nature of a parachute, but maybe not exactly a parachute.
Like an elevator?
But yes, we want something in line.
You don't want to be collecting that up and folding it away. You can imagine our game, it'd be that high fidelity.
We need to sci-fi it up a bit, you know.
Yeah. You may not be aware of this, but JJ has previously said jetpacks for this. Is that what you're hinting? Or are you hitting something else?
No, we got something else hinted at.
You got something else?
I've got something else.
Something else besides jetpacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right, let's find another Valacar question here.
Something else.
That's English for I'm excited.
Oh, is that what that is?
You never been to a pub? It's all you hear half the time. No, it doesn't associate with the Brits.
No.
Good call.
Let's see. Regarding the Valacar, is there any idea of how this once Lear-bound worm started to show up all over the UEE?
Yeah, so
Parasite.
thank you, Astropub, for this question. I assume it's him because of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
He's going to make a video out of this.
It does sound like Paul.
I asked Narrative about this just to double check, and basically the idea is we don't actually know, but we assume that people have taken the juveniles from Lear and done some possible animal smuggling, and they've ended up on monarchs.
What is
like
always
the
answer? What is the answer? Anytime something seems out of place, it's because humans were involved. We're good at that.
We're not 100% sure. In a world as big and the universe as big as Star Citizen and not being able to track everything, sometimes, people do things and they happen. So possible animal smuggling, possibly scientists.
Does that mean the worms on Lear will look different from the worms in Pyro?
Yeah, they're always up to something, ain't they?
If I don't see the meme within 5 minutes of this part airing of just Zach going, possibly scientists, I'm going to be disappointed. Let's see. Will the Valacar scoot? Will it scoot? Will it scoot on through the sand for much of a distance, or does it stay local to your area where you trigger the boss fight?
Okay.
Everyone who has seen the word scoot has immediately pointed out that this specific person used the word scoot, which is fantastic. But no, it actually does move underground. When it goes back underground, you see it moving and it kicks up a big dust storm, and it's really cool. We didn't have that working in time for the demo, but it does work now, which is really nice, because at the time it only worked in offline mode, not online mode. So it was this close. It was this close. But yeah, sometimes you just got to be all right. Cut it off. We're making the video.
Yeah, I want to.
Honestly, when they say things like that, this isn't a criticism so much as just like an observation. That makes it sound like the effort to make this segment of gameplay with the worms and fighting them wasn't a super long sprint. If during CitizenCon they couldn't get that to work and 2 weeks later they could, makes it sound like this is like 7 to 10 weeks kind of. And this is so. Please don't take this as like a source of news or any sort of official thing. This is just me kind of thinking out loud. Makes it sound like it was like 10 weeks, 12 weeks kind of sprint sort of thing. And taking that and putting it into perspective or context of the rest of the project, I often wonder how long it takes for them to produce certain parts of this gameplay when sometimes we are under the impression that it takes a long time. when in reality it's just that like there was a lot of other stuff going on, and then they got to this. Like, no, stream didn't freeze. Well, stream shouldn't have frozen. Like they kind of like they're going through, they're triaging, right? And they're getting all of the different things together and figured out that they want to do. And we'll look at this and be like, oh yeah, building interiors, like so much is working on this. They're going and they're working on it. They talked about it a year ago. It's going to come out in a patch next year. They're probably working on it now. And it turns out, no, it's like, if it was coming out next October, they started working on it in May, kind of thing. If 4.0 was scheduled to come out in December, they started their like final works on it in June. I don't know. I'm just, again, thinking out loud, not really making any sort of a point. It's always interesting to hear the timelines by which these sorts of things work. A lot of times I think they're much longer than they are. Sometimes I think they're shorter. We're all looking from the outside in, so we're all kind of learning on the spot. Me, definitely. Landing Joe, like in Final Fantasy The Spirits Within, that would cover a lot of scenarios. Also, just like making that movie be more universally celebrated, because it is a great movie. I love that movie. That was like one of the movies that really inspired me to get more into sci-fi.
I don't want to skip over that fact. That was actual gameplay. Like we sat there, we
I
gathered.
played that. I was
We did
Exactly.
It
It was the three of you and a bunch of other conscripts and stuff, and it was just jump in and play it, and it was see if you can beat it, and yeah, occasionally it was like, okay, we need a couple more deaths, let's see how if you can die a creative way, but yeah, those were the actual fights as exists now, and like you said, now that it can move, and it'll continue to evolve ahead of its release in a subsequent 4.x patch.
The best bit about watching people's reaction to the
I don't think 4.x patch means much to us anymore. That's basically all there is now.
And everything was, everyone's like, oh look, it's the worm, and then we pan to it says actual gameplay on the bottom. Everyone's like, oh my god. Someone said like you can tell it's in game because there's like a little bit of jank, and it's like that little bit of jank means it's in engine and it's real. I remember saying when we were talking about it, I was like, look, we can't show this thing off without having gameplay because everyone would just go, you idiots. So it was a really big push by everyone.
Yeah, dude, that, again, I don't think that panel really stood up to some of the other panels, but that panel definitely had some help having real gameplay in it, because that first day there was not very much real gameplay during day one of CitizenCon.
Everybody to get it there.
The good thing about it as well is the fact that we've got so many more eyes on it, and then so many more people giving feedback. We got to test it more, ironically, because we were getting so much footage for it. We were playing it so much that we were like, okay, this, we found new issues, and it was a very helpful experience.
Yeah, and I when we did the first recording, we had to scrap it because I was in an unreleased ship and I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
We had to scrap that whole first playthrough.
Dude, imagine if they'd accidentally slipped that in. What ship was it, Zach? Tell us which fucking ship it was.
Oh, were you in a...
I was in the...
Yeah, you're not supposed to be in that one.
Yeah. It's really cool.
You can ask me these things. Okay, that's what happened. All right.
I bet he was in the Guardian. I feel like that makes the most sense for that situation.
There was a whole playthrough we couldn't use, and I was trying to figure out why. That makes way more sense.
If it was a gun, I'd know, but ships, not me.
What? You don't know everything everybody else is doing?
I don't know anything about
Project
ships.
this big?
I know like the names of 5 ships. I can name you every gun, but if you're like, what ship is that? I'd be like, that's crazy, bro.
That's why it's so funny when people are like, they need to stop making ships and work on the game. It's like, you know how many people don't work on ships at this company? It's a freaking ton. Did we plan a cooking stream yet? Probably next week. I'm thinking it'll be next week. Because we're still just getting the rest of this all set up. We're almost done in here, though. We've almost got the studio set up. So keep an eye out. We'll be talking about it on Discord.
Clue Sniper,
Arrowhead.
Okay.
Why doesn't it have a glint on it? Can we get an update to the rolls of armor sets that have been sold on the Pledge store?
Oh, a big reason we didn't have a cooking stream this week was because we lost power for 48 hours. That kind of sucked. So we were supposed to kind of get to it this week, but a couple setbacks.
To the rolls of armor sets that have been sold on the Pledge store.
Is this your
So basically, it's obviously we've provided a number of armor sets through the website for various things. Some get coupled with a spaceship. Some are, I mean, gosh, going all the way. I think even the old Voyager Direct store probably had one or two. So are there specific updates to those rules yet, or is that something?
Well, so all armors are going to get this, like roles and specializations, all of them. And the subscriber stuff is all variants of things already in game, mostly. And even the more unique stuff will get a role. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that. Like we'll just this. I won't go through them all.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think what the question is actually looking for is like a comprehensive list. Like back when I was running the subscriber program way back when, we invented like the Overlord armors, which was a vigilante gang in Pyro and stuff like that.
Right.
So probably, well, which roles are those armors?
What are we going to be cooking? We've got a lot of stuff planned.
It's like what role is that for? It's like this. So yeah, a little too detailed for something like SCL, but I think absolutely when the time comes and stuff, we can write up a FAQ.
Yeah.
That's the appropriate thing to have a FAQ. We'll work with the community team, put that together, pull a list together, and work that out.
Yeah,
we can go back to that other panel I was talking about from 2019, and they actually do a decent amount of talking on sort of what their plans are in terms of customizing everything like that. Yeah, we've got a lot of plans for cooking since we're going to be doing more afternoon, morning stuff right now. We've obviously got a lot more kind of options for what we're going to do. It's going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it. Here's a little bit of talk that they did about like armor archetypes and stuff in 2019. This will give a little bit more context to what they're talking about here.
How much oxygen can I carry? What's the
Oh my God, it's so quiet.
What temperature can it survive? And temperature is something I'll be going on again further on. But again, then you look at, say, for example, the next layer is subcomponents. Now, as I took through the weapons, you look at that's what subcomponent, or you want emission dampeners, or you want further utility and gadgets that we release in the future. That's where subcomponents come in. But really, that's just the armor classes themselves. That's the light, medium, and heavy armor classes. And that's kind of like just the base foundation, kind of how I was saying in the weapons, you've got your base classes. Now, where's the exotic gameplay? So that's when we're looking at, say, the classes and play styles. So we want to support the player careers. So in the PU, you want to be a miner, you want to be a bounty hunter, you want to be a fighter, you want to be an explorer. We want to support those on the ship side, but we also want to support them on the FPS side. We want you to choose equipment on the FPS that ties into what you're flying, that ties into the play style and how you want to play in the PU, because the PU is not an average game. It's a sandbox. It's Star Citizen. It's what you make it. So we want the equipment to tie into that. And so when you're looking at, say, player choice, what we did is we broke it down in between combat and utilitarian. And that's where we kind of broke down a matrix. So you can see this is kind of like all of the armors kind of in the PU at the moment are all like scattered around. But really what I wanted you to take from this screen is these four kind of pillars. We've got the combat fighter, the combat specialist, the utilitarian adventurer, and the utilitarian support. Now, when you look at those four pillars, you might be saying, well, what do they do? How do they tie in? So if you're looking at, say, combat fighters, that would have light, medium, and heavies in there. But that's the armor that you want if you're going into combat. That's the one that is the absolute specialist. That's what the military would use. It's got the most damage mitigation. It's got the most item ports for magazines. It's the most throwables, so the grenades. It's all about absolute combat powerhouse. And then you look at, say, the combat specialist. Well, that's when you're coming into where you want more niche, more special forces, more special ops. Now, they're still good at combat, but they're giving up some of their combat effectiveness to provide more utility. So if you want to be a bounty hunter and you want the absolute best-in-class radar for finding people to track down your target, to take them in, then maybe you'll pick the heavy combat specialist. And then you look on the other side of the road, that you're looking at, say, the utilitarian. Now, utilitarian adventurer, that's kind of like best-in-class climate control. So if you're going into these harsh environments that's extreme cold, extreme heat, or you're going into these, really, where it's got acid rain, that's when you want this pillar. And this pillar also includes where it's got like best-in-class inventory. So if you're going down mining and you want to say, I want to do one trip, I want to get everything while I'm there, you're still going to be combat worthy. You're still going to be able to compete in combat, but you're giving up some things to get other benefits. And then the utilitarian support that's where more about consumables. So when we start doing healing gameplay, in terms of medic gameplay, healing your party, providing more support and giving you these unique roles when you're playing, and so that you can actually hone down in terms of what you want. And so when you actually add all that together,
yeah.
And then you
So when you add all that together, you get a lot of different armors. But it's good to note that like this is the direction they're going in with just about everything. And we can see from armors like this, you do get better temperature protection, was kind of the first thing they were doing. The next thing they did to start specializing armors was the dynamic crosshair, which, oh God, the amount of fucking drama that caused. Just because it was, I don't know, people were like, it's turning into Call of Duty. You don't have to wear the armor. This is the whole point of it. It's so that if you don't want to turn into Call of Duty, don't got to play it like Call of Duty. But we'll see other things like that, I think. And this specialist armor they're talking about for utilitarian, which, again, sounds like it's coming first half of next year or something like that, is going to be the next step of armor customization. And as they keep going, I think they will also flesh out the inventory system so that it's a little more specific. You can carry these items, you can carry med pens, you can carry magazines, you can carry a backpack. And that's going to continue to make more and more armors that come in a little bit more special. Mihai, dude, gifting out 5 freaking community subs today. Thank you, man. Blessing my Friday. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a good stream and a good day and looking forward to a good weekend, dude. The point is that it provides an objective advantage, so you kind of do have to wear that armor. Yeah. And that's important for a game like this. It's the same with the ships. I'm glad they're sticking to something like that. Much love to you, Mihai.
We made clear as well that like the things, the armors you saw at CitizenCon, they're our newest, shiniest ones. That's, the reason we picked those. Yeah. But, all the legacy stuff, all the stuff that's currently in game right now.
It's also worth saying, like, a lot of these armors, they were very specialized, and we were trying to use that as a showcase to show, like, okay, so if you want to be the ultimate stealth, you pick this stealth suit. But we are having items that are, not every item is going to be specialized to the T. There are going to be ones that tinker towards that way. Yeah. Like, they're a little bit of stealth, but they also have loads of attributes. It's not like, I picked the stealth out, so now I'm really weak. Like, so we just focused a lot on those ones. So like a lot of the subscriber ones are absolutely going to still have traits and stuff, but it doesn't mean
more generalized.
More generalized, exactly. Yeah. But it doesn't mean like, okay, I've got this helmet, so that means I'm forced down this route. It's,
That's a good point. Two points to remember, that the majority of armors will be a more generalized thing with little tiny advantages here and there and stuff. And the second, that you can still do almost anything in any armor.
Exactly.
It's just a question of how well you'll do it, or how much of an advantage you'll have in one particular area.
Exactly. And then when you really want to specialize and you progress through the game and you work with factions and guilds and you get rewards, and then all of a sudden it's like, I want to be the salvager, you have that suit, etc.
So one of the things we mentioned is backpacks, and how some armors may have their backpacks removed. So like this question says, will flying with backpacks still be possible, or will we need to stow them?
You'll need to stow them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be a case of, obviously we have so many different backpacks and we've got more coming down the line. So it might be a case of I think it depends on the ship as well, we talked about, right? It depends on whether they be automatically stored or whether...
There are seats that, like, the dropship seats,
right,
that have their own inventory.
Yeah.
And you'll automatically have that backpack and your weapon, anything else that would clip, taken off and put in that inventory. And when you stand up, it will appear back on, because, as you said before, Nick, the last thing you want to do is be strapped into your drop.
Okay, see, now there's more of the same thing we were just talking about with the suit lockers. This is them stripping away some of that quote-unquote sim-style gameplay in order to both make the flow of the gameplay a little quicker, but do it for a specific type of player. So it continues to silo people more into the gameplay that they'd prefer. If you are a dropship pilot, or rather, if you're the kind of person who wants to get in and out of the seat quickly with all your stuff, you might fly something that's a little more associated with that kind of gameplay, that being a dropship pilot, maybe a bounty hunting ship as well might do something like that. And it sort of breaks the idea of physics and like how things work. Obviously, it's just randomly snapping items for you, but it also is still specializing the game in the way that kind of emphasizes simulation. You know what I mean? Like, it breaks what you'd expect from real life by doing something that wouldn't happen in real life, but it builds onto the sim aspect by still emphasizing the specification of certain things. Interesting. Seems like it's overcomplicating it. Why not be able to sit in a drop seat with your armor, which is much more realistic and easy? I believe they said all armors except for heavy. And this was for piloting. I don't know. I don't think that's the same for drop seats. In fact, I imagine drop seats are different.
The doors open, and then suddenly, backpack, gun, taking it all out of his drawer.
That's a major piece.
Is this not talking about the pilot? I thought this was talking about the pilot of the dropship.
And when you stand up, and your weapon, anything that have their own inventory.
Stored away.
There are seats that, like, the dropship seats,
right,
that have their own inventory.
Oh, okay. Maybe he is talking about dropship seats.
You'll automatically have that backpack and your weapon, anything else that would clip, taken off and put in that inventory.
But this isn't talking about armor. He just mentioned your backpack, your weapons, and the things that are equipped. I doubt they're going to make you take off your armor for dropship seats.
Have that backpack and your weapon, anything else that would clip, taken off and put in that inventory. And when you stand up, it will appear back on you. Because as you said before, Nick, the last thing you want to do is be strapped into your dropship, and then the doors open, and then suddenly, backpack, gun, taking it all out of the drawer.
That's
he never mentions armor
there, Luke.
I would hope not, because I agree that would be a bit much.
People have seen, we've seen things, people sticking chairs, to the cargo grid on the sides of, Hull C's and stuff like this. And people have had questions about, well, what does this do for drop ships if you can just put seats anywhere and whatnot? Like, where's the value of my drop ship? But you just dropped a great little pearl there that a drop ship seat will have its own specific inventory. It will store your backpack, your weapons, blah, 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 so you can sit comfortably. And then when you get out, all there for you. That's huge.
Yeah. It is a pretty big, they're dropping some good news in this show. Not necessarily good news, but news that needed to be said.
I think folks who own a dropship will appreciate that.
We're looking at other places where we can maybe do that as well.
Because that also means that,
ships and things. But
another knock-on of that, I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much, but that also means that ships that are meant to have drop ship seats will act better as drop ships. Because then if you have a ship that's not meant to be a drop ship, like a Pisces, you're going to have different issues, or a 600, a Connie Phoenix, right? All of the seats. This is so hard to talk about. All the seats in that ship aren't going to have their inventories in the same way that, say, a Prowler might. So it encourages people to actually use drop ships for what the drop ship would be used for, which I like.
Nothing confirmed.
Okay.
Don't say that. Confirm it.
While we're talking to you, Luke, why not? We have seen showcases of specific armor specializations like heavy combat and heavy tracker. Will we see armor variations of different types like light tracker and medium combat, and how will those full set bonuses differ from the shown examples? Give me a detailed list, 17 examples, please.
Okay, all right,
Jeez.
Number one. Yeah, of course, you will see different weight classes for the majority of the roles. With the main differences, there'll be unique differences, but main differences obviously being protection versus mobility on foot and then in flight. So for instance, the hunter, say, we've got a light hunter, we've got a medium hunter and 2 heavies currently. They'll all be the best in their classes at scanning, finding life forms. But maybe the heavy will be way better at it than the light. But the light gets the benefit of being stealthier and faster. And it's like, which one do you take? If you're storming, if you know your bounty is in an underground facility they've taken for themselves, you're going to go in the heavy one. Whereas if it's in like, busy streets and stuff, you'll take the light. So it's all about,
It's about knowing your prey. If you're stalking somebody, who's savvy and knows what's going on, like Space Tomato or something, you'd want heavy armor because they're probably going to fight back, and we want the additional protection.
Did you just say Space Tomato? What?
Who's savvy and knows what's going on, like Space Tomato or something, you'd want a heavy armor because
I don't know what's going on.
And we want the additional protection. But
nobody, I'm sorry, Jared. Nobody comes to me for combat support in this game. All right, I appreciate the shout out, but I don't know what's going on.
You're stalking someone who has no clue what's going on. You're just going to be able to sneak up right them.
Thank you very much. Burks definitely knows more combat than I do in this game, that's for sure. AAK, thank you for the 5 subs, man. Appreciate you, dude. Now people are going to be trying to hunt me down and I killed the savvy guy. I'm not savvy. Don't come to me, man. I know how to emphasize the use of medical pens because I need them all the time. If you want to know how to kill somebody, I know how to kill myself in this game. Do that very well, just fall down a cliff or something. But yeah, interesting.
You just use the light armor. It's like, let's just get in there fast. He's not going to know what's going on anyway.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify, actually, like, there's a bit of confusion about the full suit feature. That isn't some, like, arbitrary buff. It's not something we just made up.
7 of 7 superpowers.
Yeah. Like, not all suits will have this kind of thing, but like, it tends to be systemic. So, say the stealth suit's a really good one, right? The bit you put, like the piece you put on your arms, that masks the emissions of your arms, right? So you need the full set to fully be.
This is again something they talked about.
Some part of you is giving off emissions.
They talked about this here. And sometimes you see this stuff and you're like, are you really going to go into that much detail? Look at this. They talk about temperature.
Which kind of clothing that you want to go for. And when you look at armor, it's the same thing because in the PU, you can put on a mixture of different armor types. So we can't just treat armor as a singular individual item. It has to be treated that you can mix and match. And then we look at the furthest on the right, which is basically a full armor. Now, a full sealed armor is basically a room in and of itself. So if you think of like your car and you're driving around and you've got the heater on, it's keeping you nice and warm. And if that was within the operating window of that apparent temperature that your car is, then great, it would be fine. But then if you broke down, then basically the apparent temperature of outside would start to equalize with the temperature on the inside, and you'd start to get cold. And over time, that temperature would be equalized. And that's basically how a sealed armor would work.
So they're talking about the same exact concept, that your armor will change your emissions based on what part of your body it's on.
It's not like, you put it on and then suddenly you vanish off the face of the earth. It is systemic.
Fair enough. Zach, going back to creatures here. Everybody knows, old timers will know that pets was one of what was. It might actually be the very last stretch goal. It was near the end there. This question simply says, can we tame creatures?
Well, taming is a very specific word, and I had to ask Rich about this, so I'm going to make sure his wording is correct, as to not have speculation. We don't have anything in development right now. So no speculation. There's nothing in active development in terms.
I don't know, man. Sounds like they're saying pets are coming soon, folks. Write it down for your 1.0.
Of pets, but yes. TM down the road sort of thing. But
we're still committed to it. It is one of the stretch goals. Like
definitely still committed.
It's what we said at the beginning of the show. Not everything is in active development, so not everything has an answer that we can give you at this moment.
Yeah.
I think everybody...
Hey, what's up, Jive? Good to see you in chat, dude. Yeah, I'm just going to go off of the... I mean, I must be good at combat now. Right? We're just going to stick to that. We'll just move forward with that. My reputation precedes me. Never put me in the position, but just trust it.
everybody likes the idea of having a pet copian. I know some of our NPCs in Pyro have pet copians and stuff like that. So those systems are being worked out with NPCs, and being able to issue commands and stuff like this. And when the eye of development, Sauron, turns its gaze back to pets and whatnot, you will have a lot of things that we can build on.
Yeah, I joined this project just so I could travel space with a Shiba Inu, so it's definitely something that I'm very keen on doing.
You and Alberto, man.
No comment.
I don't understand this question. Why did the sandworm shoot rocks in a square?
Okay, so I'm gonna fully put this to bed now. So anyone who thinks that spread is a square, so spread is when you shoot your weapon or not aim down sight. People seem to think they're obsessed with the idea that it is a square.
Why? Why do they think it's a square?
Because they have sent me all
Because
these
people love to find all the problems.
videos and they're just incorrect. But this is a picture of a video of when the sandworm was bugged. See this? And that's when they didn't have randomness in, and it's a circle. So it is a circle. It's not a square.
So you're saying that when it was bugged, it was a circle, but when
Now all the questions are going to be, Zach, why is it a circle?
you fixed it, it's a square.
No, it's still a circle. Don't you start. There we go.
He's ruined the evidence now.
Oh yeah, it's all gone.
What was the problem with it being? I mean, I don't have a dog in this race. Whether it's a circle or
Dude, don't ask that question, man. We're talking about the internet here. It doesn't matter if there's a problem with it. It's going to be a problem.
square.
It never was a square. It never was a square. Just to be clear.
Are you trying to gaslamp the community right now?
Gas lamp?
I've provided evidence.
But you said they've sent you videos, and
They've sent me videos which are incorrect.
presumably of it being in a square, I would guess.
And they're wrong. I know, because when you turn on the weapon debug, it is a cone, isn't it?
It is a cone.
There you go. And don't say, oh, you said square. I mean, circle, not cone. They're the same thing.
It sounds like you're gaslamping the community.
I don't know, Zach. I don't care if it's a circle or square, dude. If you're messing with shapes, you sound like Illuminati, all right? Take that stuff out of my game. I don't need that. Don't need no politics in my game. I don't want a square fired at me, okay? It better not be a square or a circle. Make that a squiggly line, okay? That's what I want. Zach, square space worm guy.
You're going to be the square guy now.
Yeah, he's no longer the glint guy. He's now
I'm not a square.
he's now squared space worm
You
priest.
said it wrong. He means gaslighting. No, it's gaslamping. It's always been gaslamping, and you're wrong.
I actually didn't know that.
I feel like Jared is now gaslighting us about gas lamps. This whole episode is a mess.
I hope you know.
The show doesn't get any better when it's taped. Nick,
Hello.
what can you tell us about Did you put this question in there in a second? Non-combat, okay, so before we talked about industrial stuff, mining, stuff like this.
That's where we get to GIF versus GIF.
Non-combat, non-industrial specialization, armor and clothing, stuff like medics and repair people and...
I'm glad you said medics because I saw a lot of comments about medics. So yeah, we do have lots of non-combat, so things like obviously a medic. And again, we kind of, not just by class, because obviously like Luke mentioned, it's not just always about the mass and the size or more protection. It's also about like what makes sense. You know, if you're a first responder, what would you wear? You probably wear something light, quick on your feet, can
AAK?
get down to it.
What would you wear?
If someone's in a cave or whatever, get down there and help someone out. But then obviously we talked about potentially the ideas of like a medic on the front line, so they'd have a bit more protection. But the things with the medics, obviously they've got the visor, so they're going to have more, when they ping and scan, they're going to have the vital signs of people in their group. So if someone's down, they're going to get a notification on their screen to be like someone's over there, and that maybe how long they've got before they're incapacitated. And then obviously we've also looked at the idea of like refilling your med pen, so the vials on your leg, again, kind of being a systemic system about it. You rather than discarding your med pen, you actually put them back and they slowly refill. So it means that your primary role isn't just focused on combat, you're on the front line, like healing people up and helping them, body dragging them to areas of safety and whatnot. But then we've got a lot. We've just started concepting like the tech suit, which I know is quite a vague term, but obviously we've got hacking in the game coming soon, and that would be like the idea that you can remote hack. So maybe you don't actually have to go up to the terminal, and this suit will excel at that. And obviously, again, you'll have its own different visor. And one exciting feature is like wireless charging, which I know we're quite passionate about. So some of our combat armors, which we've not really spoke about before, but if you have your energy magazines and you store them onto your suit, you'll start to get a bit of a trickle charge because they are essentially batteries. So these magazines will start to slowly recharge, and there's kind of like the trade-off, right? So it's like ballistic, they've got limited capacity, but maybe they do more damage, whereas like energy ammo, you can slowly recharge it over time via your suit, it's powering it, but maybe they don't do as much damage, or maybe they don't have as much travel distance.
It's like one of the
one of the beauties with
that's
the
another
tech
one of
suit.
those like sneaky little things in this game that haven't really been discussed too much, but are one of those things that would be a very interesting mechanic in an FPS shooter. That in this, it's just kind of like, I guess it's not in the game yet, so nobody actually cares. But in this, it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to have our suits be power supplies, and those power supplies can be hooked into other things and actually transfer the power if you need to. And that'll handle your life support and like your batteries and all the blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's like, that's pretty freaking cool. That our suits are going to be like walking life support modules that can actually power stuff differently.
Is the idea that you can wirelessly charge your teammates around you. So if I was wearing the suit, Luke and Zach would have their energy mag start to slowly recharge.
Part of charge and drain, yeah.
But yeah, like obviously we mentioned like the pilot suits, and we talked about racing, and I feel like
environment suits.
Environment suits, another massive one. Yeah, sorry.
The leader.
The leader, aka me. Yeah, so we've got thanks. We've got environment suits. So obviously, like we're going to have these planets that we're introducing, all these different systems are going to have lots of hot and cold temperatures, radiation, corrosive, and these planets are going to be, you're not going to be able to travel to these in just any old armor. You're going to have to prepare. You're going to think about storage, and it's like if you're like an artifact hunter, or you grab resources, or you want to be the loot guy and you want to collect everything, like in a Fallout game or whatever. Then you're going to have to wear one of these suits and go from there.
See, this is like the kind of stuff I was thinking we would hear about and see a little bit more of at the Starware Dress to Kill presentation. I thought it sounds like this stuff's further out when I would have thought it was closer to being in the game. Wonder what their timeline is on something like this.
I think it's like we'll be scaling back which suits have EVA capabilities as well.
Yes.
So there are some very specialized EVA suits in the game.
Yeah.
So if you want to spend a lot of time out in space, these are the ones you'll want.
Flying around.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're like a salvager, for example, and you're going out in space, like you're going to need a lot of like oxygen capacity and EVA capacity. These are going to be a much bigger deal than they are now. Like it's going to be a lot of kind of preparing for like, okay, like you said, if you're mid-battle, maybe I want to sneak out, do some salvaging, get back quick.
Obviously, these are a lot of changes and with a lot of moving parts and stuff. And I can see why there'd be a perception that this just makes the game more tedious. More crap you have to manage. More so like this. We always operate, and I've been here for a decade now, so I can say this in full-throated here. We always operate on this idea.
That's such a weird term to me.
You bring it to the point of
just a full-throated embrace. I can't even say that. And they use that term quite a bit at CIG.
Realism, and then you bring it back to the point of fun.
Yeah.
It's when all these new systems get implemented, and, all these different suits and all these, this does this best for this, and this best for this, and this best for this, and like this. There will, like with anything else, be an adjustment period, not only to that, but then from that back to this point where we like it becomes manageable. Just like with the suit lockers, I'm absolutely certain that there was a point where accessing the suit lockers was okay. Hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Play that animation. Other hand. You're just like, okay, all right, feet and whatnot. It's you can do that in something like Squadron because it's a single player game and like this, but in an MMO and stuff like this, okay, yeah, we have that system, but let's.
Yeah.
It's we're a little time dilation there.
Yeah, same with the, same with the drop ship seats.
Exactly.
Just these little things that make it bearable.
Yeah, these little things that'll speed up the process and let you get into the fight faster or get into the situation.
And you typically know a path, right? Like if you're like, oh, I need these materials for my base, or to craft these things, then you'll be like, okay, where is that? Here it is. Oh, it's on this planet. It has these contexts. Okay, I can do this. So you kind of already know to come prepared beforehand because you know what you're facing, because you know what you're going to get. So it's less like, oh, I'm there and I don't have that
Company
thing.
that makes the models is called JRDF. Yeah.
It's like, cool, I've prepared. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go there.
And just to finish on that question, obviously, Luke and I have spent so long, like we've looked at every aspect of Star Citizen, and because we are such a huge scope of a game, like there's all these different roles, but armor is still it's in the name, it's armor, right? So I think obviously it's very easy to go towards combat and damage mitigation and all that because it's armor, but we are thinking of every scenario that players might be in, and if there is
Every non-combat scenario.
Exactly, every non-combat. So whilst we may focus on combat at times, I don't want players to think that we're just foregoing like medics or engineers or anything like that. We are.
I will say, when you were describing the medic version, in my head, I want a shield. I want a big, I want to sit there with a med pen, and a shield working towards a down person.
Yeah.
I think Chris doesn't like shields, if I remember properly.
Chris is wrong. You're watching the last broadcast.
Yeah, Jared's fired.
He doesn't like shields. All right, I'm gonna talk to him. Hold on, just let me message him now. We're not live, so I can take the time to.
Yeah, get Boss Man on.
Chris. WTF.
I don't have the red phone here, unfortunately.
Okay. We'll just leave him with that. See how long it takes him to respond. Let's go back to a Valakar question. Where's a Valakar question? Or a creature question. Oh, the Valakar question. Is the Valakar the biggest thing?
No, the Valakar is not the biggest thing. In the presentation we ended
squids.
so far, and I believe in our matrix right now, the biggest things are on Castra, and
Whoa.
it makes the Valakar look small. So
Okay. So that picture we saw, because it's definitely not space whales. They still haven't mentioned space whales. Don't know why. Don't know what they're waiting for, what they're doing there, but space whales are definitely not being mentioned that much. But I'm thinking this must be what he's talking about. Because these things look freaking huge. So I wonder if these little space squid, big space squibs are big boys on Castra. If you use a camera as a webcam, you can help. No, I use an OBS cam. You don't see the model on there, only the MSR. They do some specialty stuff, yeah.
It's going to be very intense and it's going to be very cool. Rich has given me the brief. He's very passionate about these things. He was like, Zach, the Valakar is really cool and big, but Castra, that's when you're going to see and I'll leave it there. But it is intense.
Is a Valakar longer than
I'm
a
fixated
space
on
whale,
those
then?
squids. I mean, what else have they shown us that's big? I guess now they're mentioning space whales.
Well, it depends on the size of the space whale.
A long space whale.
A long space whale, perfectly average space whale. I don't know the measurements of the space whale.
I bet it's longer, but not, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Are you
Okay,
self-conscious?
so space whales are still there. There you go.
South this. Yeah.
I don't know. My brain went into a whole place where it's just better if I keep my mouth shut. Oh, look, Chris has messaged.
Long day
All
wobbly.
right, well, we don't need to worry about next week's show. Will there be reputation /guild /org clothing items made available that give special stat bonuses or armor capabilities?
Not quite. So,
Next question.
the majority of armor loadout, armor blueprints will be unlocked via guilds. But
Or guilds?
guilds, not
Guilds.
player.
Oh yeah, they're the
player orgs.
yeah. Because I always get confused about this because
Player orgs will allow you to customize your armor with your logo and stuff on there, but that's it. It's just cosmetic.
I don't think their roles are software engineer or game designers, but can say all of these guys are actively coding and like doing the implementation of stuff into the game itself. So that helps to answer that. Study and work not leaving you much time for breathing. I feel that's a busy time.
Guilds, say we've got these really specialized armors, right? You're not going to find those in shops. They'll be super rare in like loot drops, maybe on missions and stuff like that. So you unlocking that blueprint and crafting it might be the first time you ever come across it, you ever get to, wear it. If it's, one of those super specialized things. But it's not a better, we don't give it a buff because it's a guild version or anything like that. That's crafting. You make it and you research it, and that's how you get those buffs.
Okay. And this ties into your set bonus question from before. There isn't some just magical bonus that's added to these things. It is like as many other things as Star Citizen as we can. We build it systemically, and when you get these pieces, you'll be able to mix them and match them with other armor types, and you make the loadout and the stat pool that you want, from all these things. So
you're gonna have to have a good app that shows you the different stats of all your armor pieces as you're equipping them, which is why the current one that we have just isn't gonna work, I think.
You put a question about subscriber armor in here.
That's an Ares on the desk.
Subscriber armor. When we lose it, do we use insurance or recraft a blueprint, and how does that work?
Blueprint, I'd guess.
Are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you. Yes. So with your subscriber armor, you do gain a blueprint when crafting is introduced into Star Citizen. I looked at you because we were talking about crafting, and I thought you might want to carry on that just for the record.
Nick's the one who's
It's a
going to get
controversial topic.
Yeah, I'm very nervous about it.
Nobody wants to get clipped on this one.
So when crafting comes into Star Citizen, you will receive a blueprint for your items that you've got, and you will be able, those unique items you will be able to craft again.
And just because I know somebody's immediately going to ask, that's not a replacement of the item kiosk, the item recovery a kiosk that we've talked about in the past. That is, I think it was at one point we intended it to be in a previous patch, and it just wasn't ready and stuff like this. There are still plans for that. When we solve a number of technical challenges, we were talking about that before the show. How to keep that from being an item duplication machine. It has to go through and find, like, where is the existing item? It's floating out in the, halfway between Hearst and Microtech. Okay, it's got to clean that item up and give you the new one, so we're not just spamming hundreds and hundreds of copies. But also, if it was stolen, if it was taken, no. If it's sitting in somebody else's inventory, that's is that a legitimate kind of thing? Because we also don't want that to just become a duplicate thing. So there's a number of technical and logistical and just game rules things that we're still working out.
I love that second part.
Crafting seems like
that it can be stolen and belong to somebody else. Like that's such a cool idea that you could just have the opinion of, I'm not going to spend any money on this game. I'm just going to steal from all the people who did. Take their stuff. Like, more power to you. That's a great way of doing it. Mr. Mark, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the stream.
Probably a more immediate solution to allow you to recover those items, because a lot of those items are really cool.
Absolutely.
I'm always a big fan. I can't get it because Tom's in the way of some of the helmets that came out during my time there. So
I want to use my P8 in the PU. You know what I mean?
Your P8 in the PU.
Sometimes I can't with Zach.
You're not the only one.
Many games, including Star Citizen, have gear for hot and cold environments.
Thank you very much.
Environmental armors. However, has the team
PK.
considered...
Bro, you guys on Twitch, man, you just passed our goal for the day. I appreciate y'all. You're great people. Again, we passed our first chance at getting Partner Plus last month, so we're trying to keep that going this month. Appreciate gifted subs and Prime subs. I will say those don't count towards the total, but Twitch puts us on a little goal to meet. It's underneath the stream over on Twitch. If we reach that goal, they take less of the support that you guys send by subs. So thank you all on Twitch who help us pass that. YouTube, you don't have to do that. YouTube just automatically is like, oh, we know, we understand. We'll give you some however much amount. But Twitch does this whole thing, and we are fighting to hit it again in November. So thank you guys for the support. And Wobbly, thank you for the membership on YouTube. Just to round it up to 20. Well, you're looking at the Twitch. You're on YouTube, man. That's a whole other counter, unfortunately. But appreciate you, man. Thanks for passing that over to Tiny Home.
Specialized clothing tailored to help in traversing places like jungles and swamps.
Yes.
Like anti-mosquito armor?
Next question.
He's on it. He's on it.
Nailed it. They sound like humid locations, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else, what other challenges are in a
We need
jungle,
air
right?
conditioning, Luke.
Humidity just raises the ambient temperature. So if you have a sealed suit that has decent, heat mitigation, you'll be fine. That's what you'd want for that kind of location. And we have plenty of explorer suits, like suits for so you can be out in those environments for extended periods of time. Whereas if you were just wearing kind of combat armor, you would overheat very quickly.
Nice, Maverick, 69 bits.
They mentioned clothing specifically, so I'm thinking
They'll have-
like Bermuda shorts and a Maui shirt, so you don't overheat.
Oh, the Maui shirt.
I imagine we'll have clothes.
Orange leaves on the Maui shirt.
Or not, but it's not going to remove. It's not going to, keep you cool. You'll just be less hot.
Trying to imagine wearing a Microtech parka, in the middle of a swamp, watching your vitals go crazy.
We've kind of got that currently in game now, right? So when I joined design team, I did a temperature pass on all our clothing and armors. So we have like a minimum and max resistance. So when you start to hit a certain threshold, you start to overheat. So yeah, if you want to go in your Hawaiian shirt or whatever, then obviously you'll last a bit longer.
Still be
I overheat in Hawaiian shirts.
It's not sealed,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't suggest it. Not when you've got just pop a helmet and an undersuit on. You'd be a lot better off.
In the mid '90s, I used to be a professional baseball mascot, and I used to dress up as Trimmer the Rallysaurus.
Why does that fit so much?
Dinosaur costume.
Jared as a
Always had
baseball mascot.
camel pack full of orange juice and vodka.
Nice.
I forgot how that was going to attach. I had a connection to that, and I lost it halfway through, and then I was hoping it would come back by the time I got to the end of the story.
When you were doing that, I wasn't
did not.
born.
I was going to say that went right over your head.
Yeah.
Didn't
Didn't
it?
open the box yet, Mav.
The 90s?
The 90s, what are those?
What's that? Best ever.
Let's check our messages
The
from Chris.
1900s.
Yeah,
That's what I can't stand. Like, oh yeah, you were born in the 1900s?
Will
Cool.
we be able to save loadouts of gear?
Yes.
Yeah, in the armor. Oh, what do we call them? Armor lockers.
Yeah.
Suit lockers.
Just
Again,
kinda really-
killing those time sinks that people perceive and replacing them with things that still allow for there to be choice and consequence, but focusing on the fact that like the little things will need some help while the bigger systems should play out for players. I think the cargo transport career path is like a huge sign of this. Yes, it takes a lot to move a bunch of boxes around, but they are still including more tools to make that easier. They are allowing people to do their auto loading. They are saying if you don't want to spend this much amount of time loading stuff, only go to these locations. Like giving people the ability to sort of break down the extended amount of time some things take, but allow them to still do the things that those actions sort of provide, like inventory management, is really key. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we're seeing from this episode of Star Citizen Live is just their talk about how time sinks won't always be the time sinks that you think they are. They are in very much the way they are because the game is so unfinished.
Alluded to earlier, the sense that you can quickly swap to your loadout via the locker.
Will we have backpacks that work with regular clothing that we can use without having to wear armor?
Yeah, so we are
God.
entertaining the idea of potentially, like we're saying, light, because obviously we've got light, medium, heavy backpacks as well. So light backpacks could be used with clothing, and we might even make dedicated backpacks that would, kind of make sense to go with clothing.
Still waiting for that. Still would really like that. Next Citizen Central episode will probably be after IAE, so late November, early December. We'll have people come on to talk about ships. How does one autoload? If you're at a space station or a city center, you just, when you're buying the cargo, you can select a little button that says to autoload it to your ship rather than let you manually load it.
Jansport. And okay, I'm really old. Oh my God!
I'm not gonna lie.
If you were on the
Or
wide,
American, I don't get that one either.
if you were on the wide, you saw 3 absolutely dead expressions.
Yeah. How's that?
Somebody out there knows Jansport. No, but nobody.
Jansport? I know the brand.
Silence.
It's almost Jared's bedtime.
All right. Why was the Boreal Stalker canceled?
It's not cancelled. No, it's not cancelled. We really want to do it. Rich is really keen on getting those creatures that everyone has seen before in the game.
It was in the Matrix.
It was in the Matrix as well, yeah, and really cool variants of it as well. So not cancelled, definitely coming. They haven't found any old tweets, so it'll be all right.
I think there's a thing that, I mean, obviously, you know, priorities in game development shift and stuff like this. A lot of times that happens because of resource availability and stuff, and you're always, you know, Boreal Stalker has all these, you know, additional parts, and it's gonna be a pain in the butt to animate whoever has to.
Oh no, you're thinking of the Whip Crab.
I'm thinking of the Whip Crab.
Boreal Stalker is the Yeti one.
That's the bear boy.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, so those creatures are definitely sooner in.
Well, because we just got the hair now with the space cows. So
and it looks
so that's the space cows.
Was
are a
the
stepping stone to
stalker? Wait, was the stalker not on here?
Enjoy the rest of CitizenCon, everybody.
I mean, that looks like a variant of it, right? These look like variants of the Boreal Stalker. Honestly, this looks like a variant of the Whip Crab. I didn't even notice that before. But this one here, you got one right here, one up here, and one right here. They look like variants of the Boreal Stalker to me. And to be quite honest, I don't think I see anything here that would be bigger than the Valacar other than the squid, which we see down here. So I do think that's what he was talking about. Makes sense if it was on Castra. It's more of a sky-based thing. But yeah, I think the Stalker is these bear-looking guys. Looks like a slate of Pokemon.
What was the big crab thing that I'm thinking of? What's it called?
That's the Pyro Crab, but the Whip Crab, it has a couple of names.
Is it whip crab?
Whip Crab. Whip Crab.
Like WIP crab? Like whip crab?
That would be a very CRG appropriate name. But yeah, also with the Fauna Matrix as well, we've left some slots intentionally blank because whether anyone in the community posts something really cool and we're like, yeah, we want to nick that, or, you know, game directors do that thing where they go down and go, wouldn't it be cool if? And yeah, so we've left a couple of slots in the Fauna Matrix available intentionally in case we think of anything cool or we come up with anything cool and we can put it in the production pipeline. Yeah, we have the next 5 kind of like we know what they are. So the next 5 we know what they are, and they're going to be very cool, and you're going to get a variety in those 5 as well.
What are they?
I can't say. Can't spoil it.
You can
Space
tell me.
pandas.
How are you?
Earmuffs,
Yeah,
everybody.
hang on one sec. Let me just.
You're making gibberish faces.
That's just my accent.
Silly English accent.
So it's CitizenCon when Armando was on stage talking about Starware, it was mentioned that, you know, mixing clothing and armor is one of the key features of that. This question simply says, will we be able to wear clothing over armor? Like the most popular thing is that, you know, that duster over a set of armor so that they can look like Dash Rendar. That's another. No, I have all the old references. Never mind. Can you put clothing over armor?
Yes, next. Yes, you can. There's kind of multiple layers to it. So there's a bit underlayer.
Multiple layers.
No, there is. Underlayer, overlayer, and then the overcoat, right?
Underwear.
The overcoat can go over those 2 layers, unless that it gets too extreme. You've got a huge core or something, something that's sticking out. A coat won't go over that. Maybe a backpack.
This system apparently, this
combination
system took so much freaking work to do. I remember when supposedly Chris was working on coding for this personally. That was years ago. It must have been actually a really difficult program to get these different layers of clothing and armor to stack on top of each other. Hope they go into more detail on that specifically.
of the
Where could they have done that? Oh, I don't know. The CitizenCon panel about it, which, I mean, they talked about it a bit, but I think they could have given us more idea of functionally how much work it was.
The overlay you can have. So you can have clothing armor or undersuit clothing, and then, the usual kind of undersuit armor. So yeah, you can put clothing over armor, but it's an overcoat.
Cool.
Okay.
I know that's
Well, I can wear my trench jacket.
Armando only had a very small part of that, but that's such a long requested feature for our game, and as seeing it technically possible now is really exciting. Speaking of that fun, let's go back to that fauna matrix. We saw a lot of simplified concept sketches on the fauna matrix. What are the next couple of priority creatures for implementation? You put this question in there. You just said you couldn't answer that question.
Yeah, well, no, I can't remember exactly what I put, but it was like...
You put some bullshit answer about how you can't answer that question.
Yeah, that's what we do. But then it was, it's like, we have the next 5 locked release, post-Valakar. There's one thing, so post-Valakar it's something you've never seen before, and we're really keen to get those creatures out there. But pre-Valakar, there is a new one. So there is one coming before the Valakar that is new.
Okay, so that means it is not the space cow, not the copion, not the birds. Was there anything else that they had? I think the only other thing they really talked about was the copion, the space cow. Now we know the pyro crab. We've seen that before, so it won't be that. The boreal stalker won't be that. So I wonder what it's going to be.
So there is one coming before the Valakar that is new.
What is it? No, I'm telling you, I'm taking...
Cal 2.0.
Oh.
We get to do another
Space Cow Mark II, motherfucker.
10-minute episode where you rugby tackle me. It'll be fantastic.
No.
Oh.
No. All right, give me the name of the one after the sandworm.
The one after the sandworm?
Give me the name. They won't know what it is. Just give me the name.
No, because they'll know what it is. I'll give you.
Yeah, do it though.
I'll give you the name of the one before the sandworm.
No. After.
It's a Torok.
The Torok.
Torok.
And it is.
Sounds like a bird.
It's a bit sci-fi, but it is a neutral creature.
Nice. That's good.
As opposed to
aggressive.
Oh.
Yeah.
It won't run at you.
I was thinking about alignment. This is all awful good creature.
No, I wanted to
This creature is aligned with Hurston.
do another neutral creature because I want to work on some neutral creature interactions. Like we have the Quasi-Grazer going out, for example. And that's really cool, but as we develop the Quasi-Grazer, when you stand near it and you interact it, you want it to be a bit more interactive. So we're making some creature tech, for example. It sounds really dumb, but it makes a lot of sense when you see the Quasi-Grazer in 4.0 and understand why we're doing it. It's like, when you walk up to it, it looks at you, like a pet interaction and things like that. So any neutral creatures that you do come into contact with, they're a bit more alive in the world, and they're not just doing their own sort of thing. It's like if you walk into a cow, or you see a cow, it is aware of you, it's conscious of you, and that is obviously a lot of subtle animation work. It's a lot of AI work, but that's really important because I need us to be in a good place for neutral creatures, and that's being worked on as well as the Valakar.
All right, who's in comments real mad that they're working on animals? Because I bet there's some very unhappy opinions about working on animals and fauna and stuff, but it could go into crafting. I mean, this is this is just more of the ingredients that lead to a more fulfilling game. It's just not bed sheets, okay?
How many times have you seen a Quasi-Grazer stand on top of a chair in T-pose?
More than you'd hope, but less than you'd expect.
Oh, that sounds scary.
Is it as magnificent as I imagine?
It is. It's glorious.
See if you can send me a picture of that.
Pardon?
All right, we're wrapping up here. Will it be possible and valid to mix dress types to be more versatile in exchange for losing max stats?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's core to the whole system.
Yeah, but again, you will be worse in some other ways. You might find that mixing.
About to take a look at the magic box in a little bit, Fairster. Good to see you in chat, dude.
Want, for a very specific situation. But, like, for instance, we're going to have, these full suit kind of features. So, like, there'll be systems and even just kind of weight, the mass support, these things clip together. So right now, for instance, you can put on like a heavy backpack, heavy core, heavy arms, heavy helmet, and then absolutely no trousers, right? Just run around with you,
Saturday night.
Feeble little legs, somehow holding all that up, and you will be faster currently than if you wore leg armor. So that's going. Like, your puny little legs won't be able to carry the weight of that because we're making all armors heavier as well.
That's cool.
So you will need the support of this leg armor to...
I always wonder about that. Like, is it going to just universally be that you're wearing something smaller so you can move faster, or are they going to be actually taking into account what you're wearing? It sounds like it's the latter.
To make that viable.
He just crushed the hopes and dreams of Zero State.
All they do is release spaceships and animals.
Okay. I'm just throwing haymakers left and right. Why not?
Wait, was it a sarcastic comment? Was that what he was saying about me being savvy at FPS? Was that what it was?
So we'll wrap up here. One last question.
Zero, thank you for the prime sub, man.
What needs to be finished for the Valakar to be released?
Okay, I also have a list of this one, so let me double check. Here we go. So what you saw in the demo was completely fighable. We've been playing that. We're really happy with where it is and how quickly it's come along. So we're able to balance that, but what we need to do is have the worm have bespoke collision, because there's not really a human being or any kind of creature that is able to withstand a ship hitting it. So that needs its own collision, basically.
Wait, did you say ship or?
Ship.
Okay.
I heard that too. I was like, oh, what?
It's my accent. Yeah, so that's the one major thing missing from the Valakar. We also need to make sure it behaves on the server, because AI historically. Can
we do that for all of the AI in the game, please?
Polish its animations, VFX, as well as setting up the big event that we talked about. So, yeah. But there's a lot of things we need to do with like planet tech and spawning creatures and all that, and that we need to nail down, because when we did the Copians initially, we basically could use the stuff we used to spawn rocks to spawn Copians. We're like, oh, cool, this works. But there's some things we need to do to validate where creatures spawn better. For example, like if we have quasi-grazers, we need to make sure they spawn near food sources and waters, and basically make the spawning more logical.
Yeah, a bunch of the
just
fights.
Spawn all of the space cows out away from water and watch them become rabid water. That's kind of funny because rabid and water are kind of opposites, but we'll go with it. Watch them become rabid space cows that do nothing but murder in the search for some delicious liquid to drink. Space cows on the run. Attack of the killer space cow.
We spawned the sandworm, quasi-grazers were spawning alongside it.
That's what I mean. So it's like if they know there's danger in the area. Because I landed my ship, because we had a bug at one point where the quasi-grazers were walking around and disturbing the Valakar and bringing it up, and we were like, why is it happening? And then we looked at all the entity lists. They're like, why are there quasi-grazers here?
Just tiny cows walking around.
We're an incredibly emergent systemic game, so you can't encounter for everything. But yeah, so giving creatures more
sandworms T-pose?
Logic to where they spawn.
It's more of like a lowercase L pose?
Specific biomes.
He said AI historically.
An underscore pose?
Don't.
They've been working great since I came on SC. So.
Get out, Zach. Get out. Our historic AI act like historic beings in that they are in a historic book, in that they aren't moving, in that they don't work, in that please fix them.
Everybody knows the high hopes we have for the performance improvements with server meshing and stuff like that. So we're all still fingers crossed for like this. So the high hopes we have for the performance improvements with server meshing and stuff like that. So
I know you have plenty of idea, but you have no idea. I'm like, server meshing is my wall. Now, I'm not saying server meshing is going to fix everything as soon as it comes out. I'm not putting all my faith in server meshing. I'm not going to freak out if 4.0 doesn't clarify things. But as far as difficulties in getting this game to function go, server meshing is where I draw the line. We've been at this for a long enough time that an actual solution should start to have an effect. And again, I don't think 4.0 is just magically going to fix everything, but pre-server meshing Space Tomato will have a different opinion on how the project is going long term compared to post-server meshing Tomato. So my fingers are crossed so hard, I'm breaking my knuckles, but I'm really hoping that there is some level of improvement going forward and that we can see the path towards a more stable and stable game.
So we're all still fingers crossed for a lot of important improvements for that.
Yeah, and you'll have seen how good the FPS AI has got from 322 to 323, and we've been really hamming down on that, and it's like night and day. Like it has been really nice to see it all come together, and we're constantly pushing for that at the minute. Like we have engineers that are dedicated full time to basically making the FPS AI just, an amazing, immersive, engaging experience. It's all the buzzwords.
All the buzzwords.
All the buzzwords.
Luke, Nick, Zach, you did it. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. Thank you for coming a day earlier to accommodate someone's vacation plans.
Multiple vacation, Mr. Worldwide.
You're allowed to take some time and jet set, whatever. The rest of us will be here doing the actual work. It's cool. Thank you so much, guys.
You're just going to be chilling on your yacht, Nick? Huh?
If you haven't, check out yesterday's ISC. It was our annual behind-the-scenes look at the making of CitizenCon this year. This year, fully directed and created by our own Tom Rao. I had nothing to do with it, and it's really good. And I'm saying that for the camera because it's right here. He just flipped me off. So be sure you check that out if you haven't already, and then come on back next week. Next week on Inside Star Citizen, we're talking to Benoit and members of the network team. Where it's a server meshing follow-up on all these recent tech preview tests that we're doing. So you want to check that out, and then come right back here for another SCL follow-up to one of our CitizenCon presentations.
That's good. A server meshing Star Citizen, Inside Star Citizen. It's well timed. I hope it's better than the one that they did during the summer. I hope it gives us some real proper expectations and understandings of what's going forward with server meshing right now, specifically in terms of stability, in terms of how they feel like it's going. All we have to go off of right now is Evocati. I don't think Evocati is giving a good representation of what we can expect going forward or what they are seeing on their end. It's Evocati, Evocati always is rough. So I look forward to hearing more straightforward what they're seeing in terms of server meshing.
On Inside Star Citizen, we're talking to Benoit and members of the network team. Where it's a server meshing follow-up on all these recent tech preview tests that we're doing. So you want to check that out, and then come right back here for another SCL follow-up to one of our CitizenCon presentations.
Also makes sense. It also makes sense because they need to have an ISC to fill in the space between now and IAE. IAE will probably be 2 weeks of ship Inside Star Citizens, and then after that we'll probably get 2 more weeks of Inside Star Citizen for the year. I'm guessing one of them will be a sort of general look at like maybe the publishing or the update process or something specific about 4.0. And then the other one will likely be a year in review with a little look at next year. And then we'll probably be done with Inside Star Citizen. So I would say we've got 5 Inside Star Citizens left from here. One this week, next week, Inside Star Citizen for IAE. On the 6th, we'll probably hear something about 4.0. On the 13th, we'll probably get a year in review, and then we'll be done for the rest of the year. That's the 12th and the 19th, rather.
Everybody's vacation schedule to know which one.
Nah, they get paid time off.
Bye-bye. Oh, no.
CIG devs get time off all year round. I mean, why do you think sometimes things slip? People have got to take time off, and those features don't end up getting finished, and that stuff dominoes.
Change the camera. Disaster.
Try it again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Wrong camera.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.
Yeah.
They tried. They tried.
That's it.
Honestly, I don't know. I think year in review should be a solid one. I'm gonna be working on my own, but to be honest, I feel like this year more stuff happened in Star Citizen than last year. They didn't get everything they wanted to happen, but I'm pretty sure this year has been a more fulfilling year in terms of things delivered. They get PES, right? Last year. That was last year, right? I don't even know what freaking year it is anymore. Yeah, PES was last year. So they did get PES in. And they got they got salvage in, which was good. Tractor beam stuff came in. Was pretty solid. Arena Commander updates. Some new missions was good. New bunker missions. They did do a good amount of stuff actually last year. I wouldn't say it was less than this year per se, but they're pretty equal. Considering the majority of this year's stuff came in like spread out over so much. I think mainly the squadron updates, the cargo stuff, server meshing, and pyro would be where probably what they want to talk about, assuming they do get pyro out. Basic got 1 patch this year. I'd say we got 2 patches. Like, if we do get 4.0, I would say that we got 2 pretty solid patches this year. But it's not just the patches, it's also the stuff that happened like outside of just patch updates. The work that they did on server meshing is probably going to take a lot of their sort of focus on the year. I think they've also got some stuff to touch on with Squadron, and I guess they didn't acquire anybody this year, so nothing to talk about there. Will it be PU or PTU this year? Who knows? I think they really want to get it in PU, but who knows if that's going to happen. That's probably what we'll hear about it inside Star Citizen next year, or next week. It looks like it'll be it's pretty much going to happen for PTU. I think that's a reliable call, but for PU, who knows? Either way, they've been doing years for review for a while, and I would say that even if this year's not more stuff than last year, there are other years where year in review would have been less exciting than this year's. Whether it's ready or not. They're cutting stuff out. Like, they want to ship it. I think they want to push it through. Whether or not it is going to run well or not, they want it out. So they can stop working on it and move on to the next bit. But we'll see. Either way, that was the look at Star Citizen Live this week. I think there was a pretty solid amount of good news in there that could have been clarified at CitizenCon, but for whatever reason didn't have the time or the flow to do. I do wish that we were seeing some of this stuff more in game, or at least had the idea it was coming more into the game, because like we looked at with our older armor look back in 2019, this isn't necessarily new stuff. The ideas have been around. The design has been around. This is now them just getting it to actually being in the game itself. And I had hoped that would have happened more by now, but it has not. So here we are. There we go. Hope you got some information from this one, folks. If you're watching the deep dive, come join us live. These are good times, and we get to do a lot more chatting and answering of questions when we're going over these. But you can also just keep watching them on the second YouTube channel. And thank you guys if you are here live. Enjoy you. Now we put together this mystery package. Let's do it. All right. So, let me set the stage, I guess. And I can leave like some Squadron 42 running in the background so you guys, for all you Gen Zers that need extra footage occurring while we're doing fun stuff. Let me set the stage. So we are partnered with Monstertech. This was probably back in April or May. Management was going through some of the companies and people who have contacted us and who we have talked to a little bit and set up a couple new partnerships. You may have noticed that we've talked about a couple of those throughout the year, but our biggest so far have been Artlist and Toby with the eye tracker. So for the most part, that's been where like we've been suggesting people if they want to use our code or whatnot. But we started with Monstertech earlier this year, and since we were in Turkey, shipment's a little bit different over there. Let me tell you. In fact, we have a couple of companies that wanted to ship some stuff out to us over at Turkey, but you want to talk about tariffs and taxes on imports? Turkey's got it for you in spades. One of the most fun things that I discovered while in Turkey was that they have so many additional taxes put on imported goods that the Elgato Steam Deck Pro over here sells for like $180 or something like that. In Turkey, sells for $740. So that's a whole nother conversation. Monstertech was not going to send it there. I mean, they were working on it. They were going to. They eventually were going to be like, okay, we'll do it. But we didn't want to make them pay all of that and go through that trouble. So we decided to wait until we came back to the States. And now here we are. So they've sent something over. We're going to open it. Tej, thank you for the memberships over on YouTube, dude. Appreciate you a bunch. Thank you so much for the support. Tobii Eye Tracker is not just for small monitors. I've got it running on a 27-inch monitor right now. You can run it on basically any monitor you want. I think the bigger ones, once you get out past like 35 to 40 inches, it gets a little bit different, but you can put the thing on a tripod so it's right in front of you. We have the dumb. Yeah, it's not great. It's expensive over there. That's why we don't buy a car there either. Holy crap. It'll cost more for us to buy a car there than to like buy one here and then ship it over. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's do this. I need to make sure the microphone is going to pick me up, because I believe there is a bit of a, there we go. Bit of a sound gate on there. All right. Sorry for the really low quality camera. I need to figure out what's going on with that. Come here. There we go. All right. Do we have scissors? It also says do not stick scissors through this, so I'll be careful about it. Yeah, it says please do not use a blade to open this. Okay, how about just this side then? Can I just like start the cut here? Aye. Sorry for the sound.
I'm sure you can cut those with scissors.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not very good at opening boxes. I'm just a nerd, you know? Eagle screeching. Screeching eagle noises. Maybe I should like put this down on the ground. That'd probably be easier. There we go. Alrighty. I just broke the rules. Oh, I see chair parts. Oh man, this is great. You know why? Because I've been sitting in my mom's office chair every time we've been here. What? All right. So we got a chair here. Or we just the bottom of a chair, actually. This is it. This is all they sent. Monstertech, for those who don't know, makes flight sim stuff. So they do a whole bunch of like sim things. Let's see. And this looks like, I think this is the one that Jared sits in. Oh my god, it's so heavy. Here we go. It's an RSI chair. I guess I have to get a Polaris now, huh? Is that the rule? Woo! Aye. Okay, now I'm finally gonna have a chair that suits me. For like the last 6 years, I've just been buying whatever chair we can find. So this is, huh? Yeah, this is definitely gonna be the nicest chair I've ever sat in. If I could just get it.
You're being inappropriate with it.
It's also, I'm also glad that we're, so thank you Monstertech for starters for sending this out. I'm actually really glad that we're going to do this because being a partner of the company, I kind of want to be able to like say that the chair is nice and use it myself. So now I get to do that and I get it. Nice colors. Yeah, I wish there was a Crusader one, but I like RSI. RSI makes some cool stuff. They do, you know, the Aurora. It's like one of the better. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video of my impressions of this. We will probably use this a bunch over the next several weeks, and I will give my opinions on how it is to use a chair like this. Now, one of the big benefits of this chair is that it's these little arm things, armrests. It's they come. Monstertech does like a whole mounting system for their stuff, so you can. Wait, this is probably their hardware.
Let me get the other side.
Huh?
Chair.
The back of it? Okay.
Enough space.
Yeah, there's enough space. So I need to get a HOTAS now, or a HOSAS, so that we can test out the kind of mounting that goes along with this chair, and I can see how flying with that is, because that's like one of the best parts of this. In fact, if you're not doing that, there's not as much reason to get one of these. So let me get everything out of the way here, and we can put this together, which I never do. Whenever I get one of these things, I take forever to put it together. Don't know about all you. You can find instruction manuals and assembly by scanning this QR code.
Oh my.
It said, screw your paper. Thank you. Alright. Stop being so inappropriate. In fact, can we go up? Did I just lose sound? Alright. Lower lumbar support impressions. That's what's most important. It's the most painful part of sitting down. The old lumbar. Anybody have a Monstertech chair out there in chat? Got anything to say about it? Good things, bad things, reviews, impressions? Sound is good? Cool. I'm pretty sure my Go XLR just kind of messed itself up a little bit there. Gotta relaunch that. You got Monstertech mounts for your VKBs. So the your mounts are on a different type of chair, third party. You've been spoiled by Secret Labs. I've heard good things about Secret Labs. I've seen good things about Secret Labs. Table and desk mounts, rail mounts, chairs and seats. This is the MFC. What is this called? The MFC flight chair? Guess this is the flight chair. You give it a 6 out of 10. Get a footrest to go with it. Mrs. Tomato's got a little foot hammock. It's the cutest thing. Oh, wow. Okay, instructions for this chair are only 4 minutes long on YouTube. So, this will probably only take us like 40 minutes. We start, as they all do, with the bottoms. Again, stop being inappropriate. We're gonna use this thing. You have a $50 jobber from Walmart. See, that's what I've been rocking for the most part.
Oh, that's probably so loud.
Yeah, but that's what they're here for. So, first part is the crotchless seat. Beautifully orange and crotchless. Maybe we can paint this to red for the tomate. So this is...
Mine is crotch.
Yeah, this is interesting because if you see there's no crotch there. This is for when you're really well endowed and you need spit. No, I'm kidding. This is for, you can actually put on the chair, you can mount a piece. So if you sit on it like this, you can mount a piece that puts the joystick right here in between your legs. Where the joystick always is, eh? You can actually, I think you can get a piece that fills this in though if you don't like it, because like, you know, sitting it all weird and stuff. I don't know, what am I doing? All right. Got a seat with a nice insert, yeah? It's a... Know what chat likes. This is freaking heavy. Jesus. This is the part that connects the chair.
What is it?
He's going to sacrifice himself. Ow! This is like, you buy a chair and you get this part on it. It's not usually this heavy. Got it.
Oh wow. Just toss it in my head next time.
Just chuck it at Mrs. Tomato. Yeah, it's an outlet for the roots. You have the Tobii eye tracker on a 48-inch screen? Dude, at some point, if we partner with enough of these companies, I'm like, we need to get them to like make a custom set that we prefer and just call it like the Tomat kit. And you get your graphics card, your processor, your keyboard, your seat, your eye tracker, all those things bought and chosen by the tomatoes. Technical, not bought. Technical difficulties included though, so sorry about that. All right. So if I'm not dumb, which Jerry's out, let's see. It looks like this piece goes onto the chair like this. And you got two screws that go through those holes. Wait, what? To there. Okay, so I think I need to remove this. This is what I'm seeing. You guys can't even see what I'm working on. You guys can barely see it. I gotta scoop this back. Huh. Maybe. Can I take this wireless? Uh-oh. Come on, come back. Hey, came back. Alright, we're mobile. Let's go. Oi. Don't be inappropriate. Here we go. Much better this way. Alright. So, what'd you get auto-modded for? For saying you're dumb. Come on, Twitch mod. I got you. You're good. So where are our screws and stuff? Did we get hardware? What is this? They got us foam. Look at how lucky we are. And I really need multiple cameras for stuff like this. Yay, more foam. Huh! And wheels. Still no screws though. Hey, where'd the screws go, folks? It's a little bit messy over here. Huh? This what? Screws. All right. So it may be that we're gonna put this together by just hopes and feelings. Did we get the sweets also in the package? Was there candy in there? Or do you mean the screws? Was it an autocorrect? Oh, you know what? I think all of the screws might be included in the chair, and I just have to remove them. We just need an Allen wrench. Who would have thought we needed tools to do things here? Can you hand me the drill over there? And then the drill bits on top of the computer there. This is a weird angle to see me from, huh? I don't see any packaged in there. Thank you. The screw bits are on top of the computer. Yeah, it's just part of the chair. On top of the computer. Box for the... Whoa! Ow! Hi. Okay. It does not fit. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, are we absolutely sure enough? Box itself? No. Everything that I opened right here. A little strange. I will look. All right, folks, I will be right back. I need to go and get some tools for this. Huh? Mrs. Tomato keep you guys busy? No. Thank you for your patience. I don't think this is going to work. And it doesn't. I don't think we can put this together, unfortunately. So thank you guys for coming to this, but there's no tools in the box. And I'm not going to be able to find the tools right now without leaving you guys sitting here. Can you find the tools, possibly? Can you look for an Allen wrench, maybe? Like the one we might have used the other day for the table, or just anything at all. I'm honestly a little at a loss. Whoa. Almost lost the camera. Check on the leg of the chair. No. Nope. No. You remember it coming with Allen wrenches when you got one? I think that might be the one I brought in. Here. So are there two? Is there another one over there? Yeah, maybe there's a beam that I have to use. Alright, let me try looking at the print instructions. Oh yeah, that can help. Thank you. Under the cushion. On the ground here? Yeah, I checked that. Alright, let's see. Why is it telling me that's a crosshead screw? These people are crazy. The instructions is telling me this is a crosshead screw and it's not, it's an Allen wrench. What the f you think I am? There we go. See, I found a random Allen wrench and it works. It worked. Come down here. Get over here. Alright, so this is from like a random set that I just found, and it does fit in these little Allen holes, whatever you call them. Allen holes sounds weird, so say that. Oh, you know what I can do? I can pull up chat on here. At least I can pull up Twitch chat. YouTube chat. You guys chatting very much? They always send tools for install. I don't know why there weren't any on the chair of this. Maybe I'll... Yeah, maybe the box missed it. Maybe I missed it. I opened the box, but I don't see where they could have gone. Not really that much stuff on the ground here. do I see chat? Don't over tighten the screws. I've learned that they never over tighten. They will screw you over.
Toes.
And like, I'm guessing they don't want any of the screws. Broom is coming along. Broom is coming along. Mrs. Tomato's doing her work.
Doing it.
Packing and getting ready to go by the date is always stressful. You always take forever to unpack. You talking about just moving? Still not finding them? I don't think I've ever not had tools out of the box, but I've never really put anything together on stream. Not into there. All right. So we've got our first part here, I believe. So all I need to do is drop the screw right back in. This is tomato leg. They said don't use power tools, but this is a really hard angle to get. So I'll just use power tools very carefully. Don't tell anybody at Monstertech.
I messaged them to let them know you're putting it on together live.
That I'm doing power tools.
No, that you're putting it together on live.
They said not to. They said don't do it. But he's doing it. I didn't know. This is why they said don't use power tools. And we've got a problem. The one on the other side. Secure. Well, that's strange.
Man, really use power. Use them.
Yeah. Got a problem with this. This is why you're not supposed to use power tools, folks. I broke it completely. I can't, we don't have an Allen wrench for it. They didn't send one that fits this. Which is why I had to use the power tool. No, that's the one that I brought up. It doesn't fit. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm screwed on this screw now. Well, that's too bad.
And what's the problem?
This screw's stuck. No, nothing. Okay, I'll just show everybody close up. So here's the issue. That's the screw that we have to get in and out. But because we didn't have any power tools, this is the only thing I can use for this. And since this doesn't reach deep enough in there, I decided to go with the power tool. Now that I use the power tool, I guess it's loose, but it's not stuck. Like it won't come out. So the only it's too big. This is too big. It's got to be that small. So the only real thing that I could do here is like just kind of keep trying to fiddle with this. Oh, this is the wrong. Keep trying to fiddle with this and turn it with my hand. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to go get the problem isn't no, the problem is it just won't screw up. Like it's stuck inside the hole, but it's not gripping on it, so I can't take it out. The other one worked fine, but not gonna work. So I probably can't do anything else on stream, folks. I'm gonna have to go and get, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna say in the review video that it's a problem that I didn't get. Huh? Yeah. Hmm? Yeah. It's not easy to put stuff on in the middle of the stream. It's also not something I've ever done before, so. And I'm probably not. I have that back. Oh, you guys probably can't even hear what I'm saying. Nothing, this is perfect. I mean, it should just come out. But it's like really very stuck. God, that's out. All right, folks, that's about it for me. Good fun. Love building things live because I'm so good at it. I will go and get this figured out, and I guess hopefully next time you see me, we will have a chair. Yes, and I will do a review. I said that. I will do a review for the chair. Don't worry, guys. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I will be back with you tomorrow. We'll probably do some gameplay or some org stuff, or go over Star Citizen Live or some other kind of news. I don't know. Either way, thanks everybody who supported for this. If you subbed, membership, whatever it might be, thank you for being here and watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. See you all next time.